Peace, peace.
To another episode of the Parry. I am the pugilistic Che Blak.
I'm your brother Bomani UFG. Welcome to the Parry.
We don't duck no punches, and we don't pull no punches.
And the Parry is Yo, your sound is muted, brother.
Your sound was muted. You muted both of us. You did something to technical guy, technical director. The technical director did something. So let's get right into it, though.
Yo, your mic is still muted, man.
How was my mic? How was my mic muted?
Good.
Nah, that was that bell coming back.
It was the bell. It was the bell. It was the bell. We back on it, man. Let's get to the news, man.
All right, let's get to the news, man. Come on, man. We're talking Errol Spence activates his rematch with Bud Terrence Crawford, which means that they will have an immediate rematch. There will be no interim fight, and it'll probably be between December 9th and December 30th, which I don't really think that's something that we should be seeing right away. I don't think that there's really the fans. I don't really think there's really the fans clamoring to see these two jump in the ring again, especially how one-sided it was. It wasn't like it was razor close. And, let's see him move up to 154 pounds. That's what I say. I say, let's see him move up to 154 pounds, maybe fight like a Tim Tszyu or somebody, and then see where he goes from there and how good he looks. And maybe he'll win sensational enough to get that to get the interest of the public again for a rematch with him and Crawford.
I mean, I'm not surprised that he wants the rematch, man. It's the same dude who, he don't even take a what they call a pause, a soft touch. You know what I mean? He goes straight into the next fight. After a car crash, I think he went right in for Danny Garcia. I don't remember that was before or after the crash, but he went right into a tough fight after that. So, I don't think nothing. I think that car crash might have been more dangerous than that ass whooping he took from Bud Crawford. So I'm not shocked or surprised that he going into a rematch immediately with Bud. And I respect the Bud though, just for even for honoring the contract and giving him the rematch if it happens. You got to give respect to Bud. You know what I'm saying? Because without Errol Spence probably agreeing to a lot of the things that Bud Crawford wanted, that fight probably don't happen. You know what I'm saying? So respect to Bud. I will say I will watch it again, but I don't expect anything different, man. It's gonna be another one-sided back alley mugging,
Well, I'll say this. It kind of reminds me of when Sugar Shane Mosley fought Vernon Forrest in the first fight, which was very similar. He won the first round, and then I think after the second round on, pretty much lost the fight. And then they had the rematch where he didn't fare much better at all. It was a lot more boring. It was a slower paced fight. However, he didn't fare any better in the second fight. And he went from before that fight, he was the pound for pound on most pound for pound list, #1 guy. And he never really returned to that spot. I think if he ever cracked the top 10 again, he was maybe no higher than 6 on most lists, if he did in fact crack the list. But after that fight, it was a fight that pretty much, it didn't end his career because, as we see, he went on to beat De La Hoya again. He went on to have success against Fernando Vargas, Antonio Margarito. But that took him out of that certain elite era of a fighter. And I do believe that this is the same type of trouble that Spence is looking for if he goes into this fight. And as we know, Mosley actually did it twice. He did it with Vernon Forrest, and then he went right back to back and fought Winky Wright, losing back to back.
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of shades of Mosley when it comes to this fight.
I think Errol could still have. I think Errol could still have a career, probably a very still a Hall of Fame career after taking the second loss to Bud Crawford. But I just every fighter got that fighter that just got your number, man. I don't see him beating him at 154 or any weight, really. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anything being much different. But I think, if I was his team, I would advise him to go ahead and go in another direction and then maybe double back later when it's something at stake. Because moving to 154 and fighting Bud at 154, There's no belts at stake. There's nothing at stake but an ass whoop and probably brain damage. So if I was Errol's team, I'd tell him, listen, man, chill out. If we're going to 154, let's go try to grab a strap, maybe fight Tim Tszyu, and we double back and fight Terrence Crawford later when there's something on the line for it. But but Errol Spencer's a warrior, man, so you can't expect nothing less, man.
Indeed, indeed. Moving right along, heavyweight business. Usyk Dubois, Usyk Dubois fight Saturday. They're fighting for the WBA, or I should say the Super WBA that Usyk carries, the IBF and the WBO, and then they're fighting for Dubois' regular WBA. We were just talking about all these damn belts and titles, but so this is a unification fight on paper. And right now they got Usyk is betting favorite 10-1 in Vegas right now. And I mean, by fight night, it might even get wider than that, to be honest with you. I really don't see Dubois having much of a chance against Usyk.
I mean, the thing that, people talk about Usyk coming up from cruiserweight. He's a smaller guy. He's not really a natural heavyweight. He's kind of right in that between. He's probably more suited for cruiserweight. He's not a true heavyweight, but he's an Olympian. He's an excellent boxer. Them Ukrainians, man, him, Lomachenko, they got that footwork. They got them fundamentals, man. But Dubois having that size, being a really big heavyweight, a hard puncher. I mean, he got to punch his chance, but I mean, he got his eyes swole up by Joe Joyce, man. Like, this ain't looking too good for my man. So, I see Usyk being the favorite. I don't see him having much of a problem with Dubois. You know what I'm saying? Never trust a brother named Dubois. You know what I mean? Shout out to Marcus Garvey. But anyway.
Word. Heard you on that one.
Word is bomb.
Well, okay. And so they're trying to set up a fight though with this whole Saudi Arabian. These Saudi Arabians over there are trying to line up a tournament of some sort where they're trying to line up Fury and Usyk. That's granted. Usyk gets by Dubois, and then on the same card, on the undercard, would be Wilder and Joshua, which would be an interesting fight. I don't see Joshua getting out of that fight, but I do see him keeping it competitive until it ends. And then I guess the winners will fight each other, and then possibly the losers fight each other, which will also be interesting because we could be very well seeing Usyk Joshua 3 or Fury Wilder 4 in that matter.
Listen, man, let's keep with a beam, man. Listen, Usyk is an excellent boxer, man, and so is Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury is he's an anomaly, bro. You never seen, especially a white dude with that type of size, with that footwork, with that boxing ability at that size, man. It's like you got to marvel at it, man. And Usyk is a great boxer, man. But again, he's undersized for the division. I don't see him beating Tyson Fury, and I definitely don't see Anthony Joshua going 12 rounds with Deontay Wilder unless he just lands something that put Deontay Wilder up out of here. But I don't know, man. We're going to see. In my opinion, I believe that tournament just ends in a Wilder Fury 4. And you know what I'm saying? But you already know over here, I'm rooting for home team, man. Bomb squad all day. You know what I'm saying? But I can't see it any other way, man. But it's an interesting tournament. I give Anthony Joshua a lot of credit, man, because he don't, regardless of what people say, he don't duck no smoke from nobody, even though he turned down that 50 mil from Wilder back when he was a champ. But I mean the Saudis got the money, but we also know Fury can't fight in America because of that McCannahan link and all of that was going on with that investigation and all of that, man. So, but it's interesting. I'm gonna watch it, man. But again, we just gonna end up with Wilder Fury 4, man, in my opinion. I don't see Anthony Joshua doing nothing to Deontay Wilder.
Okay. We got our guest is ready, but he's saying he's not able to get on the link.
No, he's here. He's in the room.
Oh, he's in the room. Okay.
Yeah, he's here.
Maybe I caught the text late. So basically,
yeah, he backstage.
Yeah, well, tonight we have a very special guest tonight. Philadelphia fighter, which is a rich history of fighters. He gave us two of the greatest fights of the last century. They're in the top 10, definitely. You know, the first one was considered an upset. The second one was even more brutal than the first one. You know, he had a tough fight with IBF champ Philip Holiday. Very tough, close, controversial decision. And here we have it. Philadelphia's own mighty Ivan Robinson.
What's good, fellas? What's good?
Yeah, brother.
What's up, brother?
What's good? How you doing?
Yeah, we great. We great. Yourself? How you been, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh man,
thank you for being here, brother.
For blessing our podcast.
Man, it's a pleasure being here. I appreciate you guys, man. You know I'm an old, forgotten old man now. You know, I'm in my 50s now. I'm being forgotten about.
Well, you know, you was in one of the most memorable fights.
That's what y'all say.
Of the 90s. Now we know what the fight of the year. That was fight of the year, 1998. Ring Magazine. We not just the ones saying it. You know, now we know that Gatti being Gatti and the war fight kind of overshadowed that fight. But and also the fact that this wasn't a trilogy. Gatti ended up losing both of these fights. So Gatti didn't get the glory in these fights. And this is one of those fights, though. It's like one of them gems that people don't really bring up enough. I will admit that. He definitely don't bring up enough. But it was a war. Like I said, I was there. But before we get into that fight, though, you know, we had a couple questions, you know, we wanted to ask you. I'm going to let my partner start off.
Mighty Ivan Robinson, brother. Thank you for being on the Parry, brother. And like brother Che Blak said, man, like it's one of the most memorable fights, especially that first one for me, man. Like I remember watching that on Boxing After Dark. You know what I mean? Fight of the year. They was calling it ringside fight of the year before, you know what I mean? Before they even gave the decision. It was fight of the year. So respect to you. Yeah, respect to you and the late legendary Arturo Gatti. But my first question, like you from Philly, being from Philly, which is a legendary boxing city. A lot of great fighters come out of Philly. But how did you get into the sport of boxing? Like, what brought you into the sport?
My dad. You know, I was just a kid, like we all were. You know, playing in the sandbox. You know what I'm saying? Running through the house, hitting on my brothers, hitting on my dad. You know, at night, just getting in the bed with my mom and dad. My mom pushed me out on the side of the bed with my dad, and I'm just hitting my dad's hands. And he got sick and tired of every night coming home from work and me jumping in the bed, hitting his hands. He was just like, you know what? Let me take this little guy to the gym. He took me to the gym, and it was all she wrote.
Wow, dope. So you just had it in you from a child. You was a born fighter from a child.
Yes, sir.
That's dope. But growing up in Philly, what was like, you know, back in the era, like I said, it's a lot of legendary fighters out of Philly, a lot of legendary trainers. What was the gyms like back in that era? And like, what fighters and trainers did you look up to and train with, you know, in your era as you was coming up, becoming a professional?
Well, in my era coming up, I had the guys like, you know, I had the great, you know, Willie Earl Monroe in the gym. I had Tyrone Crawley. I had Buster Drayton. I had Nate Miller. Of course, you know, I'm not that old, but I had Meldrick Taylor. It was in the gym with me. Oh man. There's a bunch of Tim Witherspoon. You know, I had a bunch of those guys in the gym. I just used to watch those guys coming in and out the gym, hit the bags, do sparring. And it was just great, man. You know, we all used to get along. You know, I used to watch those guys come in the gym and train, watch their everyday routine on what the things they used to do, how they used to train. And plus, you know, back then, those, like my dad, you know, you had the Bowie Fishers, you had the who else? Trying to think of the Georgie Benton's, Lou Duvers and them came through a lot. You had those were the real trainers. You know, those were the guys that took their time to teach us the fundamentals of boxing. You know, no disrespect to the era that's now, but the era now is definitely different from when we came through. The era now, the guys that's in the gym now, they not really taking the time set to actually train the kids that's in the gym nowadays. They not giving them really the fundamentals of boxing. Back then, when I was coming up, man, you know how long it took me to learn how to throw a jab. You know how long it took me to box, to actually get a headgear put on my head, and for me to actually go in the ring and spar. And then when I did go in the ring and spar and wear headgear, I was the smallest guy in the gym. The headgear was too big for me. They had to put a towel in the headgear for the headgear to stay on top of my head. And then back then, when we was sparring, back then, you know what? I didn't even have a mouthpiece. You know what they used for a mouthpiece for me to spar? I had to use toilet paper.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
what I use. That's what I use for my mouthpiece. And I hate to, well, I ain't gonna say I hate to tell you, but guess what was my first guess what was my first pair? And you know, I didn't come from a rich family or nothing. You know, I came from a two-parent home. I had my mom and my dad, but you know, back then we wasn't rich and nothing like that. But you know, my mom and dad had money. But guess what was my first pair of boxing shoes?
What's that?
A pair of skates. My dad took you know the skate, you know, back then.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, my dad took the skates took
the
the
bottom.
wheels off the bottom of the skates. And these was my this was the shoes that I wore for about 4.5 years. And what he did, he scraped the bottoms with a knife, so I wouldn't slide across the canvas with my shoes. They was
Wow.
all black. They was all black. I'll never forget it, man. So you know those days was different, man. And I just constantly step with my jab. My dad taught me how to step with my jab, throw the right hand and the hook. I must have did that, man. I must have did that for about 6 months, man. But you know, when I went to the gym back in them days, I went to the gym when I was 5 years old. So you know, my dad had a lot of time to spend with me to actually train me to become real good. You got guys that come in the gym now. Excuse me, coming in the gym now. You got kids coming to the gym now at 7 or 8 years old, some 9. Really now the rule is you cannot uh, be a actual boxer, USA official boxer until you're the age of 10. By the time kids come in the gym at 10, by the time they're 11 or 12, these kids got like 40 fights. And a lot of them ain't really have the fundamentals of boxing. They learn it as they going along. So, you know, the difference of the comparison of when we came along to the guys nowadays is totally different, man. It's not the same no more. It's definitely
Wow.
not the same. Yeah, it's
Man.
definitely not the same. I never thought that
So
I'd be in this era where I would see a whole bunch of things change. But you know, it's life. That's how it is.
so let me ask though, like again, right now you got some good fighters out of Philly, like you got J Rock, you got Danny
Mhm.
Garcia, and then of course you got Boots in it. Like, what do you think about the new crop of Philly fighters?
I me myself, I still say, yeah, we have Danny Garcia, we have J Rock, we have Boots, we have uh what's the kid name that just lost? The kid that lost to the kid from Japan.
Oh,
Oh, you
Stephen
talking about,
Fulton.
yeah.
Yeah, we got Stephen Fulton. You know, all those we got all those guys. They great. You know what I'm saying? But I still say to this day, and I tell anybody, they're nowhere near our era. I still say my era to this era, we'll beat those guys all day long. We'll
I
beat
mean,
them guys
if
all
you get in the ring with skates, I would believe you, man. You know what I'm saying? But
That's a different breed right there.
You mentioned Meldrick Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Um, Rest in peace to the brother Meldrick Taylor, man. No, he didn't. Is he passed? Did he
No,
pass?
No,
no,
man. You done. I'm about to say,
Yeah,
what,
no, I
no.
know. Nah, he still he got. You know, I know. My fault, man. My fault.
Yeah,
You scared,
I was just with Meldrick like 2 weeks ago. He
you
did an
scared me
autograph
for a
signing.
second, brother. I got
Yeah,
scared
Yeah,
for a
I'm
second.
slipping. I'm slipping. I'm thinking about I had somebody else in mind for a second, but he went through that war with Chavez. But he,
yes,
you
he
know, in my
did.
opinion, he got robbed. He got robbed in that
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
that's wow, that was a robbery of all robberies, man. But what was your I heard you went to high school with Meldrick Taylor as well as
Yeah,
you
we
trained
both.
with him. So what was your relationship like with him? And did you ever spar with him? And what were those sparring sessions like if you did?
Man, them sparring sessions was crazy. We went to high school together. But it was crazy because he lived 1, 2, 3, 4. He lived 5 blocks from me. I lived on the bottom of Nicetown. He lived on the top of Nicetown, and it was crazy. I heard of him. I don't know if he heard of me, but I heard of him. We never ran across each other in school. I didn't really get too much of a width of him or who he really was until the year he was getting ready to compete in the 1984 Olympics. Then that's when I really got to know who he was, and then I me and him didn't cross paths until he came home after winning the gold medal, and then that's when we became really cool because he signed with main events, and I was like right after he won the Olympic gold medal. That's like when I came right on the scene onto that Olympic team, and it was just like everybody was like, well, we got another kid from the city, and we got another kid from the neighborhood who can thinking about can bring another gold medal home. But at that time, that wasn't even in my future. My thing was I was still in school, I was still young. My mom and dad was pretty much on me about getting good grades and being a good student in school, but I still love boxing, so that wasn't even a thought. But I still did love boxing. I still did it, but that wasn't at all. But I think in 93 or 94 was the first year that me and Meldrick crossed paths in the gym that we started boxing. And at the time, yeah, I'm young, real still immature, but I'm still, as far as a good amateur, I thought that I had the fastest hands as a featherweight because I was 125. I think Meldrick was like at 140, either 140 or 147. And we got in there and we sparred. Man, I thought I had the fastest hands. That Joker hands was faster than mine, man. That's the first time I ever been hit faster than lightning. I mean, that brother hit me with some stuff, but I mean, it wasn't like he tried to hurt me or anything or nothing like that. But he definitely let me know that he was definitely the master, and I was still a kid, and that I had a lot to learn.
That's dope. That's dope, man. Now, being from Philly, man, there's a long legacy of great fighters out of
Right.
Philly. Who's your all-time favorite Philly fighter?
You know what? That's a great question because you know what? Nobody never asked me that. Only thing I have always been asked was who was the greatest fighter that I ever thought or looked up to in my whole career. And I've always said Sugar Ray Robinson, but nobody never asked me who was the best that I thought out of Philly. So I could never really tell you. But I'm going to tell you, and that would be me.
There we go. There we go.
I wouldn't
There we
expect
go.
anything different from a fighter, man. Yeah, me.
Me.
Now,
No doubt.
in '96, you
Right.
fought on Boxing After Dark HBO, and it was
Right.
still a relatively new program, and it was still fresh. So you was part of that freshman class with Boxing After Dark, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken, when you fought Philip Holiday for the IBF title. Now, was
Right.
this your first time on premium cable television?
Yes. Well, um, yes, you can say that, yes, because yeah, well, as far as the big channel, yes, but before that I was doing a lot of fighting on USA.
Right. Tuesday nights.
Excuse me. Yes, Tuesday night fights. That's where I think that I basically got all my fans at, you
Right.
know, because I was pretty known coming out of the amateurs, especially because of those big fights that I had with De La Hoya, and I think that it transferred over to my professional career because I still say that I think that they robbed the heck out of me going into the Olympic trials when I lost to Julian Willer, because I still say if I wouldn't have lost to Julian Willer, there was no way that it wouldn't have been there wouldn't have been two Olympic gold medals coming back from the U from Barcelona to the United States in '92 that year. It would have definitely been. Y'all already know Oscar would have won. Would have been the second, so it'd have been two champions coming back. But I didn't go. So you know, uh, apparently I was still a hot commodity at the time, and USA they gravitated to me. And then one thing I think that was really uh, going for me at the time. Me and Sean O'Grady, which was a great fight. He was a great fighter in his area back when I was coming up. I think me and him took well with each other. We really grew a bond with each other. So I think that was a plus.
Okay. Now, going on HBO, back to
Hmm.
when you get the call that you're gonna be on Boxing After Dark, and it's against Philip Holiday for the IBF. What is going on in your mind as far as your preparation? Is it another fight, or do you look at this as this is my moment?
Well, um, me being a fighter and me actually just, talking to a lot of people on podcasts, news reporters and stuff like that, it's just crazy. I mean, I must have done 1,000 of them, but it's crazy that the questions that are being asked hasn't been asked. You're asking me things that has never been asked. I thought that would be asked. And I'm the type of person, I don't shy away from things. I mean, that's why you guys ask these questions, because you want to know these things. Well, prior to that fight with Philip Holiday, there was a lot of things going on in my career that they wasn't really bad. I guess those are things that just happens when you're pretty much a great fighter or a good fighter, and certain things happening in your career that should be happening. One thing was that I was undefeated. I was the number one mandatory for the IBF title. Um, uh, I was managed by a real good guy named Eddie Woods, and I was co-managed by a woman named Catherine Nicolosi, who was a multi-millionaire woman who owned a cheesecake factory back in Jersey, where I was living at the time, not too far from Philly, about 20 minutes from Philly. She owned a cheesecake factory called Mother's Kitchen, and I was supposed to have been being promoted by Main Events. Well, what happened was we had a tune-up fight, which we took, which was against the Drunken Master, which was
Emmanuel Augustus.
yeah, Emmanuel Augustus. Prior to that, before that fight, we was getting ready for, I forget who. Oh, Lionel Butler. We were supposed to fight Lionel Butler. We were supposed to fight Lionel Butler like 6 months before that. He pulled out, got hurt before somebody else stopped him. So now we're supposed to fight him again. Getting ready for him. Something else happened. He pulled out. So we, like I said, USA kept us for some reason. We had some type of love with USA. USA loved us. They wanted us to fight on the card. It was in Baltimore. We said, okay. We signed to fight Lionel Butler. Lionel Butler pulled out. They didn't want to cancel the card. They wanted to keep us on. Whatever USA did or however else they promoted us to fight. And it was assumed and it was promoted that we were in line to fight Philip Holiday. So I didn't care. And that's just how I didn't care who I fought. Could have fought anybody, fought him in a phone booth, whatever. So a week before the fight, they finally came up with an opponent. I I didn't know who the opponent was because the way I trained, I didn't care who my opponent was. My dad was my trainer, Odell Cathay, and Leon Tabs, and my manager was my team. I let them always watch my tape. I just trained. They came to me and told me who I fought. They watched the tape. They watched my opponent, and we went in the gym. They gave me the lowdown on what my guy did, and we trained for him. Well, apparently, this knucklehead, the drunken master, was just so difficult. It was so hard. We had all kinds of problems getting guys to come in to cop his style, whatever. So we did what we had to do. Okay, I was having a problem in camp with my team, as far as me and my dad. So to make a long story short, we got through the fight. All right. We beat the drunken master. It was in man, that was the hardest fight. Basically, that was the hardest fight for me ever. And if you ask Floyd will tell you the same damn thing. Augustus was probably my hardest fight ever. I mean, Gatti was too, and Chavez was later because I was older. But in my prime, Augustus was my hardest fight besides Gatti. Augustus was, and he was before Holiday. But we beat Augustus, so we go on to fight Holiday. Now, in the Holiday fight, we getting prepared for Holiday. I'm back in Philly, getting ready for Holiday. I had a little problem with my camp. Now, my dad is my head trainer, and I have another guy named Odell Cathay. My manager is Eddie Woods. 2 weeks prior before the fight, me and my dad had a little fallout. Not the smartest thing in the world. Me and my dad ain't together no more. My dad is not with me no more.
Right.
Main Events is my promotional team. I'm in camp with Pernell Whitaker, Arturo Gatti, Robbie Pena, David Tuitt, Junior Jones. Junior Jones gets ready to fight Antonio Marco Barrera.
Right. Classic.
Right. Junior Jones spanks Antonio Marco Barrera.
Indeed.
Me and my dad are not seeing eye to eye. So he's not with me now. That's the worst thing in the world. That is the worst. I swear to God, that is the worst thing in the world that could ever happen to me. Me being who I am and being a fighter, and any fighter in the world, you have to chalk shit up and take it for what it is and go do what you do. Main Events, I love them to death. They at that time back then, they was a great promotional company, a great team. They was just one of the top teams, promotional teams in the world.
This
What
is
they
Lou
did,
Duva's main events,
yeah,
right? Okay.
huh?
Lou Duva's main events we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
What they did, like I said, Junior Jones just beat the crap out of Antonio Marco Barrera. What they did, my trainer, my second chief trainer was Odell Cathay. He stuck with me regardless. My dad was out. What Main Events did, they brought Tommy Brooks in. And Tommy Brooks was the head trainer prior going to the Philip Holiday fight. And I only had Tommy Brooks for about a week going into the Philip Holiday fight. I didn't like it, but what could I do about it? I still thought that I was seasoned enough, skilled enough, and myself professional enough, even though I had my other trainer with me, to do the things that I needed to do to go win. But it just didn't fit. It just didn't work, and it just wasn't my night. Philip Holiday, I guess he was just a better man that night, and he won the fight. I still thought that I did enough to win the fight,
Right.
but he got the nod that night, and I was really, really upset for two reasons. One, I think I should have did more, which after looking at the fight, I think I did enough. But me being who I am, I felt as though I didn't do enough to win that fight. I mean, that's that fight, that Philip Holiday fight. That type of fight is a fight that I see all day, every day. That's the type of training that I have in the gym all day, every day. That's sparring that I have in the gym all day, every day. That's sparring that I eat every day, all day in the gym. That's work that I train with my eyes closed. I don't know what it was in that fight that just didn't get me over the hump. I don't know if it was the fact that my dad wasn't there. It was the fact that I was things just didn't go right. I don't know what it was, but I just that just wasn't that night, and it didn't happen. Um, you know, they say that God treats you for things that you do wrong, and he treats you, he makes you see things that you do wrong, that you should humble yourself a little better. And I think that was a fight that made me humble. So, it was what it was. I thank God for putting me in that position. And, I thank you guys and for the world for putting me in that position, because, a lot of fighters don't get the opportunity to even get there. I got there. So, and then, it paddled me, it boosted me to bigger and better things after that fight. Even though it took me a while for me and my dad to get back together, but with that saying and with that position, I got to bigger and better things. So, but yeah, that's a fight that I wish I could have had back, because at the end of the day, right after that, look, Shane Mosley went right out there and did what I should have did. He went
Right.
right out there and destroyed that mother. But hey, learn a lesson learned.
Indeed. That was a very tough, close, and a controversial fight, though. I remember that in real time. That was not a fight that it was very hard to, when that fight ended, it was like, okay. I remember you came in strong in the middle rounds. Uh,
Hmm.
Phillips came, he turned it up. And then I remember around the seventh round, you turned it back up. And it was one of those fights, though. It was definitely a tough fight to score from a fan point of view. And
Right.
I definitely think it was a very spirited fight. Uh,
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, in that, you said you in your fight in camp, you mentioned Pernell Whitaker, and you mentioned Arturo Gatti, who you later on went to have two epic matches with. Now, is this where you met Arturo Gatti?
Yeah, and as one, like I said before, you know, life is crazy, and you really don't understand how life controls things. You don't know how life is set for you. We never know how life, like, we don't know what's going to happen today. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen next week. We only can dream and think about what's going to happen. I never thought that, and maybe they never thought it neither, but I think they did. I never thought that I never thought that I would actually fight Otero Gatti. Gatti never thought that he would fight me. Purnell never thought that me and him would ever spar each other. I never thought that Purnell would ever take me out and uh take me out on a shopping spree. I never thought Purnell would take me down to Virginia and introduce me to a lot of his friends and family that he got down there. And then at the same time, 3 months later, bring me back to camp when he was getting ready for Oscar De La Hoya, and bring me in his camp and keep me down there with him and Zab Judah and Arturo Getty again for 6 weeks while he getting ready for Oscar De La Hoya, and me be his lead guy and camp with him while he getting ready for De La Hoya, and pay me good money to spend time with him for 6 weeks while he getting ready in hot ass where was we at? Hot ass man, I knew I was gonna forget Texas, down there and training down there while he getting ready. I never thought those type of things would happen. I never thought that I would put in all those rounds with Pernell Whitaker sparring. I never thought that Pernell Whitaker would hand me my behind, by beating my behind for 4 and 5 rounds in the gym and talking to me, spending time with me. I never thought those type of things would happen. Those are things that you actually sit back and you would dream about, but I never thought they would come true. You know what I'm saying? I never thought that. I never thought me and Zad would become real good friends. I never thought that actually uh Arturo Gatti would be the one who would help me get put on the map by making
Right.
good money. I never thought those type of things would happen. And I know that Arturo Gatti was the one making a whole lot of money. I knew Arturo Gatti was what they call him, guts and bloods and guts. I knew
Yeah,
he was that guy.
blood and guts.
Yeah, I knew he was that guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that fighters always ever wanted. We always want, it's just like basketball. We want somebody to put us on, And before Arturo Gatti, like after I lost to Philip Holiday, actually, to be honest with you, I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, I'm actually sitting here fighting guys, beating guys, saying to myself, like, why ain't these guys giving me a shot? Why ain't these guys fighting me? You know what I'm saying? I'm calling out guys like Oscar, like, yo, Oscar, I'll fight you. No, Oscar don't want to fight me. You know what I'm saying? I'm chasing Shane Mosley, like, Shane, why man you not fighting? You know what I'm saying? Shane, like, well, no, man, you not in my category right now for me to fight. You not worth me fighting, me and you fighting right now. What I mean, what does that mean? That don't even sound right. What are you talking about? That don't even sound right. I mean, what the hell does that mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm fighting these other guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm fighting guys like Kevin Marshall, not taking anything away from those guys, because my dad always said to me, it doesn't matter who they put in front of you, you have to beat those guys.
Right.
It doesn't matter. If they gave you Joe Smith tomorrow, if they called you up and said, Ivan, I got Joe Smith for you to fight next week in Atlantic City at the Showboat, and you got to fight him 8 rounds. That's who you got to fight. That's who you got to get rid of. You got to go fight him, and you got to go beat him, and you got to be impressive when you beat him. You can't tell me, oh, I don't want to fight him. Why you don't want to fight him? He's another human being. He got 2 feet. He got 2 hands just like you. Why you don't want to fight him? Okay, he may not have a perfect record like you. He might not be a world-class fighter like you. He might not be in the top 10 like you. But guess what? That nigga hit just as hard as you. He can knock you out just like you can. So what's the difference?
Right.
So let me ask a question though, because we just had a show about ducking, right? Now, do more of the business get in the way, right? Or do some of these fighters use the business as a way to duck fighters they really don't want no smoke with?
Both. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
It goes both ways, because you do have guys ducking jokers because of the business there. Oh man, I don't think this guy should get this type of money. Nah, he ain't worth this type of money. Like, I'm gonna give you a prime example. I had a conversation. Who was I talking? I was talking to somebody. Prime example, tell you that, because I know nobody know this. I think I was like 13-0, and I think Oscar was like 15-0. He was with Bob Aaron, and I was with Main Events. Oscar was like probably like number 1. I was like around 5 or 6. We both was lightweights. Now remember, I had fought Oscar 3 times in the amateurs. I lost to him all 3 times in the amateurs. But 2 of the 3 times that we fought each other, anybody, I don't like swearing, but I swear on my dead uncle, you can ask anybody, they'll tell you that I beat him. And I prayed to Oscar, and I said to him, you can ask anybody on that Olympic team from 89 to 92. I said to Oscar, I'm going to come for you in the pros. Oh, man, you ain't going to come. I said, Oscar, I'm going to come for you in the pros. When he, remember the fight he had when he fought Jesse James Leha?
Yes,
you know who he was supposed to fight?
Who was that?
Me.
I
You know
remember
why he didn't fight me? You know why he didn't fight me?
Why is that?
Because of money. I said to him, and this is just me. One thing I've always been told, one thing, you don't never belittle yourself. You don't never make yourself not be more or what you think you were. So my thing was this: Oscar and I wanted to fight, and I wanted to fight Oscar. I didn't care about Oscar. Yeah, he the golden boy, whatever. He had knockouts or whatever. But my thing was, I was gonna punish Oscar because I know I punished him in the amateurs, and I didn't feel nothing no different just because when he had no headgear and no shirt on, ain't mean no different. And I knew he was knocking people out. I said to Oscar, I said, Oscar, we'll fight you. And my manager was like, we'll fight you. I said, Oscar, let's fight. I said, I'll fight you. I said, I want 250,000 Oscar to fight you. He told me no. Bob Arum said no. They said, you're not worth 250,000. I said, I'm not worth 250,000. I said, well, I'm not taking anything less than 250,000. So if you're not giving me 250,000 to fight you, Oscar, I'm not fighting you. They turned me down. You know who they fought? They fought Jesse James Lehigh, and he knocked Jesse James Lehigh out in like 6 rounds.
Now let me ask you now that let me just ask a question about this, but hopefully this question don't put you on the spot or make you feel no kind of way, right? But just from the outside looking in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see that there's how much do race, right, and
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote marketability play a part in brothers being able to get a fight? Because as opposed to fighting you and putting that 250 grand in your pocket, he chose to fight another Spanish speaking brother and get him paid and knock him out in 6 rounds, like you said. Like, do you feel like race play a part when certain people are in certain positions in the sport?
Sometimes it do, but I'm not a charismatic guy, man. I just feel as though like this: pay me for what I'm worth, and let's do what we gotta do. Because at the end of the day, regardless, I'm gonna give. If you're gonna pay me whatever you're gonna pay me, if then you come to the table and you tell me, Ivan, I'm giving you 500,000 to fight this guy, but it's more on the table, and I don't know nothing about it. But you already telling me you giving me 500,000 to fight such and such. Guess what, nigga? You getting 500,000 out of me. You gonna get that $500,000 out of me in that fight. It doesn't matter if it's more on the table or not.
Mm-hmm.
Now you gonna have to deal with me later if I find out it's more. But if that's what we signed for, that's what you get. That's exactly what you get.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna never say at any time Ivan Robinson did anything less. You're never gonna say that.
I will say, man, it would have been a great fight to see you fight Oscar, man. I would love to see that fight.
It would have been great for you to see me fight Oscar. It would have been great for you to see me fight Shane. Those were the two guys in my era that I really wanted to fight. One, Oscar, because I had a vendetta with him. I wanted to fight him because of my amateurs. Shane, I just felt as though he was just, it's just certain guys in your era, in your weight class, that you feel as though that's just great, that you just want. And I wanted to fight Floyd too, even though Floyd was bigger than me. I always wanted to fight. I wanted to fight Floyd ever since he beat Gatti. He felt as though he beat Gatti better than I did. And honestly, the way I feel, I think he beat Gatti after I beat him. Gatti was already a shell after I beat him.
Gatti was
I will say that
a few losses. Like Gatti took quite a few losses by the time
he took a few L's.
Yeah,
De La Hoya might have got the Gatti before that.
Oh yes, I even forgot. I forgot De La Hoya.
De La Hoya had already touched up on Gatti before Mayweather.
I will say that
was just a showcase.
that Floyd beating though was a back alley mugging though. I'm gonna keep it a beat.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was.
Absolutely.
He said on ESPN, I'm an A-class fighter. You a C-class fighter.
Well,
He went up there and he showed that, man. He,
but
but I will say you was the first one to really that I remember putting that leather on him. Though.
Well, it was
that first fight, man. Wow,
now,
like you was hitting, like you couldn't miss in that first fight, bro.
Everything
you threw was landing.
Because we're about to actually get into that first fight, but right before we get into that first fight, now you had said you met Gatti during the training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And did I do something? Did I remove something? Am I still here?
I still hear you.
Okay.
You good? Yeah, but you definitely did that. But go ahead.
Okay. Bring it back. Bring it back for me.
Yeah, bring it back.
You said that you had you met Gatti during the camp. And I remember in the fight, listening to the announcers, they mentioned that y'all were good friends. So
yeah.
How was it when you got the call? Because I remember when you fought Gatti, it was actually coming off of Gatti's loss to Angel Man Freddy. And I felt like they were trying to throw somebody in there to make Gatti look good, personally. I remember that fight. So I remember going into the fight thinking, okay, I knew who you were. I remember you, especially from the Phillip Holiday fight. So I knew it was going to actually be a good fight. I knew it was going to be a close fight. I didn't know how it was going to go, but I just knew it was going to be a good fight, which ended up exceeding my expectations. But
well, I mean, the Gatti fight, man, it was just it was crazy because like I say, God does things for a reason. The world makes things as the world goes around in circles. And things just happen for a reason. I had just actually and it's crazy. We talking about it now that I'm talking about everything is starting to come back in full circle. What had happened was I had fought like it's crazy too. I just had fought like a month before the Gatti fight. Gatti had fought and he lost. And I had seen his fight, but I really didn't pay too much attention to it. I had fought in Philly, and I can't remember the kid I fought, but I fought a kid from, I think, Jersey or something. We fought a kid from Jersey, and the fight was good. It was going well, but I can't remember what it was. I think he got mad or something. He butted me. And when I went back to the corner, my trainer was like, man, you letting this guy stick around too long, man. You got to get rid of him, or else you're going to be sitting out too long, and we trying to keep you moving. We're trying to get you. So I went out there, and I got rid of him. Okay? So prior to that fight, me and my team was already in cahoots trying to get us another fight. So nothing was on the horizon, and I was getting real frustrated and upset. So what happened, Shane Mosley was getting ready to come to Philly to defend his title. Didn't understand why he was coming all the way to Philly to defend his title. Then he was going to bring another kid from the same area of his to fight and defend his title. So what happened, me and my best friend was at his job, and where they was having a press conference at was like 20 minutes from where my man worked at. So we heard about it. So I got upset about it. So I went to the press conference, and me and Shane got into it. So the guy that he was about to fight couldn't come. So me and Shane got into it at the press conference. So I said to Shane, Shane, you're not a true champion. He was like, what you mean? I said, how you going to be a true champion coming into another man's backyard to defend your title, but you bringing somebody else out of your city to come into the man's backyard to fight? So, I mean, me and Shane got into it so bad that we was about to throw fists at his press conference. So what happened, Study it being Shane press conference about him fighting another guy. It turned into me and Shane about to fight. So what happened? My manager, main events, and Shane Mosley and Bob Aaron put the fight together. So now it's me and Shane Mosley about to fight. So I go, I'm already just coming off a fight. I'm already in the gym. So I goes back to the gym to get ready for the Shane Mosley fight. Now remind you, I got cut in the last fight. I already got butterflies over my cut man, which was Leon Tabs. Study, they sending me to the hospital to get stitched up. They put butterflies over my cut. I goes to the gym. I'm all excited. I'm gonna fight Shane Mosley and this, that, and other. So, like the third day in the gym, I goes to spar. Now they, they got the headgears with the mask to protect you. Now I never, ever in the whole time, my whole career, I never used one. I used this for the first time. Now, the kid that I'm sparring is hitting me with the jab in the right hand up against the headgear. And I can feel that it's like, rubbing the cut. So when I take the headgear off, the cut is reopened. So I'm upset and mad because the cut reopened. So I give it like a day or two to see if the cut is going to close up. The cut doesn't close up. We had to close up. We had to postpone the fight. I'm upset. Everybody in the city was really looking forward to me and Shane Mosley fight. So the fight is postponed. The kid that Shane was originally gonna fight, they back on now. Me and Shane Mosley, we going through it, we talking crap, a whole lot of shit. Shane talking about, well, after I get rid of this guy, me and you can fight and this, that, and other. So I'm like, all right, no problem. I'm gonna heal up and we're gonna fight this, that, and other. So Shane Mosley go ahead, he knocks the kid out. Bob Aaron and main events, I don't know what happened. They tried to make the fight happen. The fight falls through. I'm back in the gym training, hoping the cut heals up like it's supposed to. I'm mad because main events telling me that they can't get me a fight. My manager, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm telling him that I'm gonna get rid of it if he don't get me a fight. So one night, I was out late. I was out real late. I got a phone call. So I looked at my phone. It was my manager. So I'm like, what's up? His name Eddie. I'm like, yeah, what's up, Eddie? He like, where you at? I'm like, I'm just getting ready to go to the house. He like, cause he lived around the corner from me. He's like, can you stop at my house? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'll be around there. So I gets around there. He like, I got some good news and I got some bad news. So I'm like, all right, well, give me the bad news first. He like, we gotta open up camp. I'm like, open up camp. I'm like, I never shut camp down. I just hasn't really been back in camp like I should be. I'm like, wow, what's up? He like, I got to fight for you. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm like, who is against? Arturo Gatti. I'm like, huh? I'm like, who? He like, Arturo Gatti. I said, Arturo Gatti? You talking about Thunder? He like, yeah. I said, you talking about the one that main events guy? He like, yeah. I'm like, man, you crazy as hell. He like, yeah, I'm serious. Yeah. I started laughing. He like, I'm serious. He like, why you laughing? I'm like, nah, you ain't say that. He like, yes, I did. So I'm like, all right, I'll talk to you in the morning. So I go home. At the time, I was married and I had 2 kids. So when I got home, I woke up my wife and I said to my wife, I'm like, I got to fight. She like, damn, it's about time. So I'm like, but you don't know, guess who I'm fighting? She like, who? I'm like, I'm ready to fight Arturo Gatti. She like, no, the hell you ain't. I'm like, yes, I am. She like, wow. I'm like, so that means I'm gonna have to leave for camp like tomorrow. She like, all right. So I'm like, it's time to go to work. So I go I call my trainers and them. We all meet up the next day. I'm like, yo, we fighting on Joe Gatti. So everybody like, all right. I'm like really the only one that's happy, but everybody like got this like messed up face, like, yo, man, this is
Like
a
you
hard
fighting
fight.
thunder. You
Yeah,
fighting
they like,
thunder.
yo, dog. They like, yo, this is it right here. So I'm like, all right, that's it. This is the fight that we want. So I called main events. Like, is this really the fight that y'all really want? They're like, yeah, we want to see where you at. We know where Gatti at. Gatti need to get back on board, and we need to see where you at. So I'm like, y'all don't know where I'm at. They're like, no. But we know what Gatti coming. We need to know where you at. I'm like, all right, no more said, man. I packed my shit up. I went to camp. I started training, man. I cut everybody off, man. I ain't talked to nobody. I went to camp for 6 weeks, dog. I trained like a mug. We had a press conference in New York. Now, when I normally have a press conference, I just say what I have to say, and then that be it. But I mean, like me and Gaddy was like at neck and neck with each other at the press conference, man. It was just tough, man. That fight, that Gaddy fight, it was like like when you actually you get to yourself and you sit by yourself and you actually do some thinking, and you like you got to do some cleaning out some shit, and you actually know that you need to put your thinking cap on, and you really know you got to dig deep into doing what you got to do. This was that fight that I knew that I needed to have. This was the fight that I knew that I had to have everything working for me. I don't care what it was. I know I had to have every fine tune. I had to have every violin string playing. I knew I had to have every mechanic working. I just knew I had to be 100%. Nothing had to be a tab off. Everything had to be in order. And everything was just perfect that night. That was just a perfect night for me. And like I told the reporters that night, and I told them weeks before that, I said the only way that I was going to lose that fight was if Gaddy was going to knock me out, or he was going to kill me, or I was going to leave him on a stretcher. That was the only way I was going to lose that fight that night. And yeah, he almost did it with like 2 seconds left. But that was the only way he was gonna win that fight. That motherfucker gonna have to take me out on a stretcher that night.
Yeah, I mean, definitely proved it. Let's get into that fight a little bit though. Let's talk about the first fight. Uh in the first fight, the first
Mhm.
round specifically, you came out and it looked as a matter of fact, the first round y'all just got right busy. Like the first round, y'all came out there, both of y'all just started getting busy. It wasn't even no real fill out. It was like two guys who actually did know each other. And I don't know if y'all ever sparred before. I know you said you was in camp with him,
Nah,
so there
we
was no.
never no sparring. It was when we was in camp. Matter of fact, both times that we was in camp, we was always in camp with Purnell. Like I said, I was in camp with Purnell the first time. Well, I think he was in camp with Purnell more times than I was.
Right.
But I was in camp with Purnell for his first fight with De La Hoya. That's the reason they brought me in there with Purnell, because me and Purnell, me and Oscar fought 3 times. So I guess they wanted me in there because I knew how Oscar fought. I guess they wanted to know what was his weaknesses and all that type of stuff. So that was that. And then they brought me in when he fought that Cuban kid that he damn near killed. Remember he
Oh,
knocked that.
Hataro, I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
Uh,
one he fought in Atlantic City.
yeah, Toro something.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about. He had
yeah,
him against the ropes and was
yeah.
just
His
brutally having his
pounding.
way with
Yeah,
him. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Those
remember that.
two, those are the two camps we was in. But yeah. I mean, I think actually For the first fight, the first Gatti fight, I trained. It was just crazy because the whole camp, um the whole camp, all I did was strictly just box, box, box. That's all I did. But it was crazy because when we went to the press conference, the first big press conference was in New York,
Right.
and my right hand man was with me and my manager, and I never forget it. We went to the press conference, and they had Gatti on one side and they had me on the other side. And of course, Gatti, of course, he was the big man. So they had me go first. And they asked some questions about it and everything about, the fight, this, then. And it was I'm not a talker. So all I said to him, I just said that you know, Gaddy's a great fighter. I know he coming, Gatti only coming one way. He coming to knock your head in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? If you give him the opportunity to beat you up, he's gonna beat you up and get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna box him and do what I do. And if I can get him out of there, I'm gonna get him out of there. And that's all I had to say. And that was it for me. They asked him, he gets on the podium, he talking about, oh well, Ivan's a good fighter, he fights in spurts and he's a good fighter. But he can't handle my guns and he bring a knife to a gunfight. And then we stood up, took pictures, and we shook, and then we left. So the whole time after that, I'm sitting there saying to myself, just thinking. So back then, that's when limos and all that was in effect. So my manager had a limo take us to the press conference and take us back home. So I'm in the limo with my manager and my best friend. So I'm sitting there thinking the whole time. I'm like, damn. So I asked my best friend, I'm like, yo, his name Rennie. I'm like, Rennie, what the fuck did Ocho Gatti mean when he was talking about you don't bring knives to a gunfight? I'll never forget it as long as I live. My best friend turned around to me and said, Ivan, you got to be the dumbest he did exactly what he said. He said, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker in the world. I said, what are you talking about? He said what Gatti meant, man. He was like, nigga, your hands ain't nothing but knives. He got the guns. He was like, you don't bring knives to a gunfight. I'm like, so what the fuck does that mean? He's like, man, you ain't got no power. He's like, he gonna knock your ass out. All you got is knives. That shit stuck with me for the next 6 weeks in camp, dog. All I could think about was all that shit Gatti said. Man, I trained so fucking hard. It was crazy. I trained so hard. The fight was at 135. I think I came in like 133. That's the lightest I've been my whole career. And that's why that first fight, if you notice, when we came out for the fight, when the ring walk, when it's a tradition that I always have with my team before we go out to the ring walk. Right before we go out to the ring walk, me and my team always get in a huddle and we always say a prayer all the time. And we say a prayer and then we always walk out together. After we said that prayer, nigga, I ran to the ring. I wanted to beat Gatti ass so bad. That's why that first round I threw them punches like that because I wanted to get rid of that nigga, man. Man, I had that bottled up inside of me for 6 weeks. And I had to get it out on him, man. I just had to. I wanted to get rid of him. I was trying to get rid of him. That first fight was a statement fight. That first fight, Gatti was gonna have to kill me. That's why that first fight was like that. I was trying to get rid of him, man. That's what I'm trying to do. I was trying to get rid of him, man. I was really trying to get rid. The second fight was supposed to be what I done the first fight. The second fight The second fight was what I supposed to have done the first fight. Just boxing, stick and move, hitting, stay away from him, turning around. But I was so mad from the press conference going to the camp in the first fight, and it built up and going into the first fight. I didn't care, man. I was just so mad. I stood in front of him. You said I got hit with shots. I shouldn't have never got hit with Gatti. I had an argument with a guy today on Facebook. He was saying that he thought Gatti beat me and Gatti was a better fighter than me. And man, On my dead uncle, Gatti could never beat me, dog. Gatti couldn't beat me on a bad day. Gatti, he's a puncher. I'm a boxer. Gatti would never be able to beat me, man. He don't have the boxing skills that I have. On any given day, Gatti could never beat me. Never.
So
I
Let
love
me
him.
let me
That's my
ask you a
man.
question though. Let me ask you a question though. Was
What?
his was his punching power really,
Oh,
was it really all of that?
yes,
Was he as
this
Gatti.
is
tough as
this. I was just about
advertised?
to ask the same question. I was just about to ask the same question.
If you think I'm lying, ask anybody who ever fought him. They'll tell you the motherfucker can punch. The motherfucker can punch.
He was the
Rest in
star
peace up to
of
the Getty.
boxing after dark at that particular time.
You already know. Yo, so what does that tell you? That's right there. That doesn't tell you they don't lie. I couldn't believe it. I mean, like I said, I never boxed him, and until we fought, like I said, we was friends because we was always in camp with Purnell, and Purnell was a thorough dude, man. I mean, Purnell took us
Peace be known.
the first camp when I first went down there with him was when he got ready for Oscar, and it was me. No, my fault. I met Purnell when I was getting ready for Philip Holiday. I was down in Virginia. It was Purnell, Gatti, Robbie Pena, and David Tour. We was in Virginia training. That's when I met Gatti. That's when I met Purnell. Well, I already knew Purnell, but that's when I met him in camp. That's when Purnell took me around Virginia, and I met everybody in Virginia, his family, all that. That's when we became close. After that, then me and Gatti became close. We started swinging and hanging together and all that. But I never knew that me and Gatti was gonna fight each other. No, I never knew that. That was crazy. That was really, really, really crazy, man. I mean, me and this guy, that's crazy. Me and this guy broke bread together. Me and this guy drunk together. We talked together. We spent money with each other. Oh man, that's crazy. And then we fuck around, we turn around, we fight each other.
Now,
That,
if you had an idea that you were gonna fight in the future, would it have made you kind of fall back more, as, or would you have still probably forged the same
you know
relationship?
what? See, that's what I'm saying, man. Y'all guys asking me questions that nobody never thought about asking me, man. So this is kind of like ironic. I mean, like, is there any answer a right answer or a wrong answer?
Hey man, it's your answer, brother. Yeah, these are your answers. This is your
Ask me
story.
that again.
This is your story. Now,
Ask me that again.
going into the fight, I mean, your relationship with Tor Gatti, you was talking about how you broke bread with him. Y'all drunk together. Y'all was hanging out a lot. I was saying that if you had an idea that one day you two would end up fighting each other, do you think you would have had the same relationship, or you might have kind of fell back a little bit, knowing that I'm gonna have to fight this dude one day?
I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know. And let me tell you another crazy story. That's real quick. After the first fight, after because he got cut after the
Right.
first fight, and it's I yeah. Oh my god, that's crazy. See, it just show you. You know what happened after the first fight after he lost, and we was downstairs in the casino together. Guess what happened? Me and this guy was downstairs in the casino at the blackjack table. Guess who was down there with us shooting craps
At the casino, Atlantic City.
in the lane? And we just fought 10 rounds, hard 10-round fight. Guess who was down there shooting craps with us?
Who y'all was down there with?
AI and fucking Jason Williams. This was before Jason Williams got pinched.
The who knew estates, shooting craps.
Yeah,
Shooting craps.
shooting craps in Jersey, AC,
And AC. And I just beat this man 10 rounds.
and you just beat him 10 rounds.
Ain't this crazy?
Oh, that's yeah. I mean, that was a
And-
crazy.
And look, I hadn't even left out the hotel yet to walk down to my room and didn't know that motherfucking Larry Merchant and HBO was gonna be chasing me down the boardwalk talking about me and Gatti get ready to do a second fight. We hadn't even talked about a second fight yet. This just me talking about me throwing dice on the table and drinking beer and stuff. We ain't talking about a second fight yet, dog. We ain't talking about a second fight.
Right.
Well,
Right.
HBO already labeled it the fight of the year, so they knew.
Yeah,
we
they
needed
was
another
calling
one.
that fight of the year before the fight was even over.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even
As
know
matter of
that.
fact, Larry, a matter of fact, Harold
During the fight.
Letterman in the 10th round said that you reminded him he hadn't seen a performance like that since Benny Briscoe. This is Harold Letterman
Oh my
talking
God.
about your performance. He said he hadn't seen a performance like that since Benny Briscoe.
And you know Benny Briscoe. Oh,
Yeah, that's
was that
old
fight
school.
officially? Was that fight officially voted fight? It was voted.
No, that was fight of the year. Ring Magazine.
Yeah,
That was
I
Ring
got-
Magazine. Fight of the
I
year.
got
So do
my
you get anything for fight of the year? Do you get a check, a trophy, a plaque, something for fight of the
I
year?
got yeah, my dad got the trophy at his house.
Oh man, you don't get a check though.
It'd have been nice if we got a check, yeah, but I ain't get a check. I got a trophy though.
Right. Now, after the first round, because the first round was back and forth, you came out strong. Then he actually turned it on. Then you ended it. You punctuated the first round. When you went back to your corner, right after that two-way action, and like you said, you felt the thunder, because that was kind of part of the question. Was but now you go back. What was in your mind as far as going forward now? Was it I got this guy, I can beat him? Was it it's easier than I thought it was gonna be? Was it this is gonna be a long night? What was your thoughts going from that first round in the corner?
Hey, you don't want to know what that. You don't want to know the answer to that shit. You don't want to know
we
that.
do.
Now I'm even more
Parry,
intrigued. Your response done left me more intrigued now.
Man, y'all guys, I'm gonna get off of this, John. Man, y'all niggas ask me questions that y'all don't know. Ain't nobody never asked me. How long ago was this fight, man? Like 30 years ago.
98. I was there. I'll never forget this.
Oh,
this
man.
fight was carnage.
We was grown in 98. We don't look that old, man, but we was grown in 98. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I wanted to tell my trainer to open up the rope so I can run out this joint.
Oh,
we would have never knew from the performance that you put on. We would have never knew. Now in that
first round, you hit him with almost every punch you threw.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah, and this is part of what I'm saying. Like you hit him with everything you threw, and he's still there throwing back. He's still coming.
And you know what's the crazy part about it? Nigga ain't tired. Nigga ain't tired.
Ain't even tired. Still coming. Still moving forward. Now now the fourth round, you was clearly in control of the fight.
Right.
The first round on, and in the fourth round, y'all was throwing some punches, and he caught you high on the temple, and you went down. And
go ahead.
When you got up, of course, I'm. How hurt were you?
I wasn't. I was just. It was a shot he caught me when I was just off bound. You could see I wasn't hurt. I wasn't hurt. I was fighting back. I wasn't hurt at all. No, I wasn't hurt.
You definitely got up.
Yeah, because I even told my corner them that I wasn't hurt. But I mean, I listen. There's one thing about me. I listen very well. I listen to my corner. And I have had people tell me, and you always try not to. Well, at least I always try not to be an optimistic person, but I've been told throughout my career, that a lot of times, especially back at home back here in the city of Philly, a lot of times when I fought at the Blue Rising, and I try to deny it, but as I looked at a lot of my fights when I fought at the Blue Rising, I seen it happen, and yeah, I know what it is, because I do get in that spurt like that. Sometimes I do fight for the crowd, like I know that I'm a guy with very quick hands. I can hit a guy with a like a 4 punch combination before a guy could even get off a shot. And I know a lot of times the crowd can see it and they go crazy about it, and they go crazy and they are raw about it, and they get excited, and it does something to me. So it'll make me go into a spurt where I'll fight even that much more aggressive, and I shouldn't, but I do, and it just does something to me. And a lot of fans and friends and family say, "Oh, Mighty, you fight a lot of times with the fans or the crowd." Yeah, and I have done it on many occasions, and I think that's what I've done a couple times in the Arturo Gatti fight, and a couple times it portrayed to where I got caught a couple times where he hit me with shots that uh knocked me off balance or might have stunned me. But one thing for sure, two things for certain. Um, I was in such uh great shape for this fight. I did all the right things for this fight. Like in somewhere along your life, somewhere in your life, you know that there is a time that you have to do this one particular thing right to the T. And for some reason, this Otero Gatti fight was the fight. I had to do everything right. Like I said, I was married at the time. I had two kids. It wasn't about them. I got away from them. Um, I went and I went to camp. I got my own little house. Um, I had my best friend with me. He stayed with me for 8 weeks. Um, had my own little home. My manager, he was a great guy. He helped me furnish everything. Um, I, my manager, he was a great guy. He came and picked me up every day, took me running, took me to my workouts, to my first workouts, then took me to the training gym at night. Uh, Made sure I ate my 2-3 meals a day. Man, we did everything right. I had a conditioning coach, I had a strength and conditioning coach. I had a yoga coach. Um, Man, everything that was supposed to be done was done for that Gaddy fight. That was the fight that I needed to be put on the map. Um, that was the fight that I needed to prevail me to be with the elite guys. That was the fight that got me the Julio Cesar Chavez fight. That's the fight that got me the Jesse James layout fight. That's the fight that got me the Antonio Diaz fight. That's the fight that got me the Vivian Harris fight. Those are the fights that got me the big money fights that I got after the Gatti fights that people said that I wasn't going to get. Those are the that Gatti fight was the fight that put me in a position to be where I'm at today. To be able to talk to you guys about my career that I had 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Um, so my life was pretty good. I'm glad I'm able to talk to you guys about it. I'm glad you guys want to know about it. So hey, it is what it is.
Now looking on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
I believe this was somewhere around like the 8th round or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but when you when you're
Exactly.
landing when you're landing combinations like this, I mean, look at
Exactly.
good Lord. I mean, and the guy is still coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just looking at this in amazement. And this was a two-way fight. You got hit with some shit.
Yeah,
But,
definitely.
but landing shots like this in repetition and having a guy still coming. Have you ever landed shots like that? Have you ever hit someone like that with combinations so fierce? These are flush shots right here. and the fight and the guy continued. Because like you said
Nah,
earlier, you was trying to stop him, and it's clear right there with these shots.
yeah, no, I don't. Maybe early in my career, I think I had, but early in my career was a different, it was a different type of situation. I was younger. I was more fluider. I think I was a punching maybe just a little more sharper. A little more. I had a little more clear of a power. Things were a little different than back then. Um, you know, here, Gatti is a little. He's a different animal, man. Gatti ain't the type of guy you just hit and he just fold. He just fold over and you get rid of him. Um, this guy, you hit this motherfucker with a brick, and it ain't like he gonna really definitely get just bow over and be like play dead or he ain't gonna get up. He's
I,
been
I
hit by some
noticed
of the best.
I
Yes.
noticed in that exchange though, you hit him in all of the vital spots. You caught him in the jaw, behind the ear, like everywhere that will put somebody down, and he just kept moving forward, man.
Lush.
Like he was clearly a tough dude, man. And
Yeah,
just
that
being the
is.
guy hit with those shots, you got to be determined to stay in there as much as determined as he was, man. Because like
Yeah,
that would
he.
put anybody down.
Yeah, definitely. I love Toro. I love him, man. He just a great dude. Great cat, man. Could fight. I just didn't like his mentality of the way that he went about the boxing, and I don't. You'll never hear me say game because I don't look at boxing as a game. Um, I never liked his portrayal of how he said it. He said that, which every fighter I think should look at it this way. When you go in there, you definitely putting your life on the line. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When every time you step in the ring, your life is on the line. But he always say he give his life up. He would die in it.
He made it cool. He
Boxing
made
is
it look like it
boxing.
was cool.
Yeah, boxing is not that type of era of a sport where you would die. I mean, if you die, you would have to die from a point where it has to be a mentally challenging situation where you get hit and you get hurt to the point where you can't function at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna die in it where it's I gotta get my last breath. No, if I'm getting beat to the point it's so bad where I feel as though I'm getting beat, nigga, I'm throwing the towel in myself. You ain't got to throw the towel. I'm going to towel in myself. It's the right.
Now that's a real touchy
That's
thing
a
right
real
there, though. The whole idea of a fighter actually quitting or a fighter knowing that, look, I got a career, I got a family at home. I want to be able
Man,
to
look,
turn off the lights. I want to be able to get up and turn off the lights at 60 years old. So
man, look.
that's definitely always a tough one because from a fan perspective, fans don't let you live. I had enough. They don't let the fighter live that down.
They sure don't, but guess what? My man said it best. I'm riding with Teddy Pendergrass. Turn off the lights. I'm turning them lights
I
off.
got another question because I noticed during the fight, especially when you was exchanging on the inside, you would switch stances. Is that something that you practiced in the gym, or was that just something you just naturally did in the ring, like instinctually?
I mean, I don't. If you know me real well, I'm not the type of guy to be blowing my own horn or tooting my own horn or trying to make it seem like I'm the greatest guy. I'm not like that. But see, that's what I'm saying. Our era, which is me and both of you guys in my era, is different, man. My dad had the time to teach me those things. My dad taught me both sides. You know what I'm saying? He taught me how to punch from the right side. He taught me how to punch from the left side. And you know what? Back then, you two guys and me, we had time to sit back and practice these things. These guys ain't got time to practice this now. These guys ain't got time to do that at all. I give my guys and that's the thing. See, one thing about back our era and the era now, our era are teachers. The era now, these guys ain't teachers, man. I'm a teacher. I give guys homework. I got guys that's 28, 29 years old. I still give them guys homework. Nigga, go home and do this for homework tonight. This your homework tonight. Come back tomorrow and show me what I taught y'all to do. Coach, I'm not no kid. Well, guess what? Yes, you are. You my kid tonight, nigga. You getting a grade tomorrow. Your grade is gonna either be an A or F. One or the other. It's gonna be an A or F. And 9 times out of 10, guess what? It's an F. Because them niggas ain't doing it when they go home. You know what they doing when they go home? They fucking when they go home. That's what they doing. They not coming. They not coming. They not coming home with an A, dog. They not getting an A.
Right.
They getting an F.
Right. It's
So that's
going
what
home
it
to
is.
get the F.
Exactly. There you go. There you go. I ain't even gotta give it to him. I ain't even gotta give it to him.
Oh man.
so closing the first fight
Mm-hmm.
in the 12th round now.
10.
Coming-
We ain't go 12.
I mean 10,
10.
10, 10. Pardon me, 10, 10. Pardon me.
That's all right.
We're in the 10th round now.
Right.
And I remember your corner pretty much telling you, like, yo, you got to put this dude out. Now, from watching the fight, I remember seeing the fight like, he's ahead. Really, he can box him. And you seemed to come out there, and for a second you started to box, but then it was just like you went right in the pocket.
Well, see, there's one or two things, and people don't understand it. See, boxing is a great art. You gotta be kind of like it's like a two-way street because boxing you gotta be very strategic about how you do it. You gotta be good at doing what you're doing, and then your team gotta be good too because you see stuff your team don't see. Your team sees stuff you don't see. So in that case, it's two ways. You gotta box good when you in there because you see stuff, and then also you box is just as good enough so they can see stuff to give you when you come back to the corner. Now, like you said in this 10th round, 10th round was I was boxing really well. And my thing was I wasn't going out there to try to knock this kid out, man, because what happens is I got a little careless. Went out there and started punching with him, and what happened? The Joker caught me with a shot I didn't see. And like I tell all my fighters, it's not you get knocked out with the shot that you see. How many times people get knocked out with shots they see? Rarely. Why? Because if you get knocked out with a shot that you see, that clearly happens. Ain't nobody gonna walk up to you and just hit you with a shot, knock you out. Why? Because you're gonna see that shot coming, right? It's the shot that you don't see that knocks your ass out, right? And that's what hit me. I didn't see the shot that he threw was the big shot. Watch the shot that's getting ready to come right now.
Yeah, here it comes too.
Watch right here. You'll see it right here. Watch right here, right up top.
So you was bringing it too. You was this is the
Oh yeah.
last round.
He was clearly coming out to try to take you out in this last
Oh
round. I
yeah.
think
Oh
he knew
yeah.
he was down on the card.
He had no choice. He had to, because he knew he was behind on the scorecards, and there was only one, and that was the only thing he could do. He had left in him with that one big shot, and I pretty much gave him the opportunity to do it. But the thing was, I was in such great shape, man, and I pretty much burnt him out in the first half of the round. That he spent his energy. He ain't had nothing left.
Yo, he was tough as nails, man. Because I'm looking at
Was
some
he?
of the
Oh my
shots he
God.
was clocking him with. I'm just like, man, he was eating those shots. His
Yes,
eye
he
was
was.
swollen from the first round.
Yeah, he could take a punch though. Gatti definitely could take a punch. Definitely.
Now they
Definitely.
said that the cut was from a headbutt.
Nah, I wasn't for no head, but I was
But I
strictly
was
from
gonna
a
say
punch.
it didn't look like it. I was gonna ask you that. You
I
know,
was strictly from a punch.
That was from that jab. That first round, you had that jab. You had that jab going from round one.
Yeah.
That uppercut, you was catching them with them uppies.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was another thing too. That was one thing I did that I haven't done in my previous fights. I watched a lot of tape on Gatti. And then, like I said, when we was in camp a lot, me and him never sparred. So it was like he would do 4 rounds with Purnell, and then he would jump out, and then I would do 4 rounds with Purnell. So like, however it went, I always watched him and Purnell spar. So if I went in first, I don't know if he watched me and Purnell spar, but when I got done, I always watched him and Purnell spar. Or if he went in before me, I watched him and Purnell spar. So I always watched him and Purnell spar. And Purnell used to hit that nigga with jabs all damn day long. I used to see Purnell, like maybe the first round, Purnell would hit him with like 50 combinations. And then the second round, Purnell might be like, man, I guess he must have said to himself, man, fuck it. I ain't hitting this nigga with nothing but all jabs this round. I used to sit there and be like, God damn, Gatti, won't you move your fucking head, dog? Do something. He don't move.
I saw in the second fight, he used a lot more head movement, especially in the early rounds.
Yeah, because
his first fight.
Yeah, because he tried to he changed his trainers. He changed his trainers. And his trainers told him that he had to move his head.
He bought shit in there for the second fight.
He fought, Ronnie Chills, and Ronnie, that's my man, Ronnie, my man.
Underrated trainer, man. That he don't get the accolades he deserves at all.
Who, Ronnie?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my man. Yep, I know.
Yeah, no, Ronnie Shields is one of the greatest trainers.
Yeah, that's how they do you, man.
Of the modern era of boxing.
Yeah. That's how they do you, dog.
Now in the second fight was a lot more one-sided. You know,
I think so too.
Yeah, the second fight was absolutely a lot. Now, when they announced the first fight, I believe the first fight was what? Split decision.
Yeah, they tried to yank me on the first fight.
Well, you know, it was Atlantic City, and coming in Atlantic City, and you coming from Philly,
I know.
which should have kind of like brought a little bit of evened it out a little bit. You know,
same thing I said.
Almost should have been like 2 hometowns, but you know, it was definitely you coming into Arturo Gatti's backyard with Atlantic City.
Yeah, I know.
And you know, I was in Atlantic City that day, so I definitely remember. It was definitely what it was. And then in the second fight, though, definitely way more one-sided.
Yeah, definitely. I made sure of that. I made sure of that, champ.
Now I got a question, right?
Go ahead, ask.
There's a saying in boxing that, you know, especially with tough fights like you had with Gatti, that every fighter leaves something inside the ring every time they fight. How did you change after these 2 wars you had with Gatti?
Say it again.
They say like fighters leave something especially after a war, like the first fight you had with Gatti, like you leave something inside the ring. Do you felt like you left something inside the ring that night? Do you felt like that fight changed you for the good or the better?
Well, see, I don't like y'all, man. I'm gonna get off this live with y'all, man. Y'all play too much, man. Damn.
We love the sport, man.
Y'all niggas,
sport, man.
This ain't no sport, man. This your life.
Absolutely.
I can definitely dig it.
Well, the thing I left in the ring, I think I might have left my spirit in the ring. It might still be down that joint.
Damn.
Wow.
Might still be down in that joint, man. The thing that came up out of there for me is that I think I became a little more of a household name. I think people respected me, which I think I did have respect, but I think people respected me even more for what it was that I've done. Um, that's all I ever wanted. I just always wanted people just to respect me. I mean, I don't really want nothing else out of it. Like I said, be able to talk to y'all, um, see each other. We break bread or whatever. I'm not a harsh guy, man. I don't ask for much. Basically, I don't really ask for nothing.
You definitely earned our respect, man. That night, I feel win or lose, every fighter contributes to the sport, and to the culture of boxing. And honestly, man, it's you guys risk your lives for our entertainment. So I just want to thank you for just putting on one of the most classic, legendary fights of that I can remember, man. It's definitely ranked up there as much the one of the most memorable fights and
Legendary
epic
two fight.
wars. Two fights,
Let's
right?
Thank
let's
you.
Two
let's
legendary
let's
fighters in there, putting it all on the line. No championship on the line. This is all guts, glory, and pride. Um, you got a Jersey fighter, a Philly fighter in there, just putting it on the line for our entertainment, bro. So just thank you. I want to personally thank you, brother, just for putting this for putting it all on the line for us, man, and and contributing to the sport that we all love, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
absolutely, absolutely. Who was your toughest opponent that you faced?
That man y'all talking about?
It was a Toro Gatti.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I kind of figured that would be it. Now, why do you think that this fight doesn't get mentioned with the Gatti Ward trilogy or the Barrera Morales trilogy, even the Riddick Bowe Holyfield trilogy, which it was mentioned during the actual fight? In the first fight, they said this reminded them of Bowe Holyfield. It was that brutal. Why is it you think years later this fight seldomly gets mentioned like that when it was such a great fight in real time?
Because my fight with Gatti is actually a classic fight, a classic clean fight. My fight is not a Riddick Bowe Goliath fight or Riddick Bowe Holyfield fight,
Right.
or excuse me, or Gaddy Mickey Ward 1, 2, 3 fight, because of the simple fact that even though I've been told that my Gaddy Robinson first fight was a rock'em sock'em fight,
Mm-hmm.
my Gaddy fights was not like the Bow. I mean, yeah, it was not like the Bow Holyfield 1 or 2, or the Gaddy Ward 1, 2, or 3. So that's why I don't think I get enough prestige from it. And it was clear. I mean, honestly, it was really clear. I mean, my thing with the Mickey Ward and the Gatti fights, they would seesaw fights back and forth, back and forth. I mean, honestly, can you really tell who was winning the fight? No, because you was too much into worrying about these jokers punching each other upside the head every round for every second. I mean, yeah, me and Gatti had that in our fights, but clearly, I mean, like I said, I'm not here trying to toot my own horn, but you guys seen, even though me and Gatti fights were back and forth, y'all clearly knew who was winning the fight.
It was clear. It was clear you was winning the fight.
Right.
Both
I
fights.
definitely
It was
will
clear, but it was
agree with
definitely
Right.
a war. Like you
Yeah,
earned that. You earned
yeah,
those rounds that you won for
yeah,
Yes.
sure. But it was clear.
yeah.
Thank
Like
you.
I felt in the first fight, man. Like I felt like you was like a sniper that couldn't miss. He was
Right.
just tough as nails. That just kept pushing and bringing the fight to you. But
Right.
you was accommodating him by just punching him up all upside his head
Now, how was
with
that?
damn near everything you threw.
How were those ribs the next day though? Because those were some vicious body shots from Gaddy. I mean, I was
Now,
watching that and I was just like, and you was taking them and still
yeah.
going.
Let me tell you, man, I never had this before, and that shows you. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what I haven't. I mean, I'm a trainer now, excuse me, I'm a trainer now, and I haven't really, I never been put in that situation yet. But like Derek James, who trains Earl Spence, is
Right.
one of my closest friends because we was on that Olympic team from uh, 89 and 92.
Yeah.
So me and him real tight. So I know that he's been in that situation where Earl Spence. Ooh, excuse me, because I know Earl Spence been in some tough fights. But going back to me in the Gatti fight when you was talking about the body shot, that
Mhm.
um that fuck excuse my expression, but that fucking first Gatti fight, man,
Mhm.
dog. I never been in any fight like this before. That first Gatti fight, body shots was so bad, dog. And my trainer, Bowie Fisher, who trained Jesse Ferguson, uh,
Bernard
and Bernard,
Hopkins.
and Bernard Hopkins,
Right.
he knew about the body shots and how tremendous they was. I
Mhm.
never had this done before. He had like 6 bags of ice brought up to my room and had all the ice put in the tub and
Mhm.
then made me sit in the tub because my wrist was sore. Had me sit in the tub of ice water. I didn't want to sit in that joint. Them jokers had to throw me in there. And when they
Mm.
threw me in there, that tub of ice water froze my body so cold, man, that it made me urinate in the tub. And when I urinated in the tub, man, I pissed so much blood in that tub, man. It was crazy.
Woo!
Man.
Crazy. It was crazy, dog. It was crazy. I swear to God, that was something I never seen and I never want to see again. It was so crazy. But I had a I had if you I think if I can remember, I think I can, and you might remember, and knowing your asses, y'all might go back and see it. But if I'm not mistaken, uh, I think it was one of the commentators had said in the press conference or on TV that one of my coaches had we had a secret in camp that we was working on that had we was working on in the gym that we had for protecting because we knew Gary could go to the body real well. So we had a exercise in the gym that worked out for going to the body. I had a training regimen that I used in the gym for going to the body. So that was part of it, but that didn't help that much because after the fucking fight, I pissed a lot of blood.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Oh
Yeah.
man, another question. Like, how's your health now? Like, how has boxing did boxing affect your health like in this day and time at all? Like, are you like you seem to be a brother that you got all your faculties mentally, but physically, how's your body?
I'm good, thank God. I'm good. I get little headaches every now and then, but besides that, I'm pretty good, man. I still get around. I don't train as much because I'm just tired. I just don't want to do it. I mean, I probably could do it. I mean, every now and then I hit the bag, I jump a little rope. If I really wanted to do it, probably on a consistent basis, I probably could. But I just don't. I'm tired. I've been doing it since I was 5. People always get on, especially my dad. Thank God I still have my dad in my life. He gets on me he called me every morning, 6 o'clock. Won't you go out there and do 2 laps, 2 miles? Man, I'm not getting up to do shit. I'm going to the gym. I gotta be at the gym at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's where I'm going. But he's still trying to get me to run, hit the bag. I'm tired. I retired. When I retired in '05, I retired. I don't want to do it no more. I really don't.
So you giving back to the sport now? Like you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
fighters you training.
yeah. I got
Okay,
fighters.
so
And that's what I'm doing.
is there anybody in your gym or that you training personally that we should look out for?
I got a kid named Dominique Mayfield. He's a heavyweight. He's 3-1. I got a kid from another kid from Delaware. Name is Jalik Holden. He's 4-0 with 3 knockouts. He's a featherweight. He's 126. And I got a kid that's an amateur. Name is Eric Page. He's 4-0 with 2 knockouts.
Just know this platform is always open to you and your fighters, and we always welcome
Oh yeah,
anybody
I'm
you
definitely gonna keep in
wanna
touch. I
promote.
appreciate you guys. Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
We appreciate you, brother. Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Now, right
Matter
now,
of fact, I'll be down. I'll be down in Atlantic City. September 27 or 28. Matter of fact, I'll be down there for the Box Hall of Fame.
okay, okay.
So
Oh, yeah,
if y'all down in the
I'll
area,
be down.
let's
I'll be
bust
down
it
there.
up. Let's bust it up, man.
Absolutely, the Parry will be in the building. So absolutely,
Absolutely.
I look forward
Yeah.
to that. Now, right now, on the landscape with the young boxers out here, or even with the champions that we see,
Mm-hmm.
who out here do you like? What are some of the fighters that you like when you see them? You say, I like what they're doing.
Um. Well, I like I like Jerron Ennis, Boots Ennis from Philly. Uh,
Philadelphia.
yeah, Terrence Crawford. Uh, I like Jared. I like Jared Anderson too, the big heavyweight
Okay.
from where you from? Chicago.
Yeah, I think so. He got a fight coming up too, don't he? He got a fight coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah, I think he got a fight. Yeah, I like him too. Uh, that's basically it. I mean, I'm still looking at and just watching guys, man. You know,
Is there a fighter at current times that remind you of you? Like, no, this guy got some of the skills that I got.
I don't really get into all that like that for real. Nah.
I respect it. I respect it. I respect it. But now you mentioned Boots and Terrence Crawford. Now Boots is Terrence's one of
It's
Terrence's
never gonna it's
mandatory.
never it's never gonna happen. So don't even ask. It's not gonna happen.
But if it was to happen, who would you lean towards in that fight? I know
I'm
you're a
going.
Philly guy.
I'm always a Philly guy. I'm always a Philly guy from the door. But I people boxing is a very unique sport. Um, and it's not just about the fighters. It's about your team. Uh, People don't understand. You look at boxing and you look at the fighter and you think it's about the fighter. It's not about the fighter. It's about his team. You gotta look at his team. And I take Terrence Crawford and I looked at him for a while and I just looked at him and I said to myself, it's just Terrence, and he's a good fighter, and I just surrounded myself around him. But I had to look at his team. He has a very, very unique team. And I have to give his whole team credit for what he's done. He hasn't done that by himself. And I wouldn't respect Terrence if he said he did it by himself. I wouldn't respect him as a fighter. I wouldn't respect him as a man. I wouldn't respect him as an athlete. Because dog, you didn't get where you at today by doing that by yourself. You had to have that. That's just like you having a computer. Your computer is not going to work if you don't feed the information into it for it to work. And basically at the end of the day, regardless on what you want to say about it and how you say it about it, but Terrence had to have that information programmed in him for him to be as good as he is.
Right.
The same
Right.
way with Jerron Ennis. Jerron Ennis just didn't get up one day and walk in. Now he's the champ or he's the number one contender in the world. He's as good as he is because he got up and just learned how to walk. No, man. His brothers and his father taught him the things that he know that got him to where he is today.
Right. They gave him
You know what I'm saying?
that sound foundation, the
There,
fundamentals.
there you go. There you go. His dad built the architect and the creation mold him to be where he at today.
Now, you mentioned real quick. You mentioned earlier about your relationship with your father in the ring and him being your trainer, and in a lot of cases, that's like a back and forth thing when you see father and son trainers. You know, and a lot of relationships really seem to sour in boxing when you have that dynamic. Whether it's, well, you know, you had Roy Jones, Buster Douglas, even Floyd Mayweather with the drama and with the Mayweather camps, and it's been a go. Even there was even point in time where Mosley didn't have his father in his corner. You know, how is that? How do you feel? You know, as far as the father-son dynamic, what makes it such a hard, such a back and forth?
Because you had two different identities. Your dad has his own identity, and the son has his own identity, and they both clashes. They both want to be the person sitting on top of the throne, and they both can't. I think at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with this sharing it. There's nothing wrong with sharing it at all. Because at the end of the day, either your chemistry gonna work or either my chemistry gonna work. But guess what? We both in it together. So what the hell, excuse my expression, but what the hell difference did it make if it was yours or mine? Shit, we won.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. Fuck it, we won.
We won.
We fucking won, dog. Yeah. We won. That's what it was. We won. But you know, it's like a fucking relationship, dog. That's what it's like. It's like a relationship.
And so the egos will be the main.
All the time. All the time.
The main ingredient. The ego.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, we appreciate having you here.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. And it was a pleasure, man. I learned something. I'm gonna sleep good. I might not even go to the gym tomorrow. They're gonna be mad as shit.
Now we learned a lot. You know, we learned a lot.
I appreciate that, man. That's love, man. Especially when you can actually talk to fellas, you know what I'm saying, and y'all can be on the same page. And then at the end of the night, or the end of the day, or the end of the session, you can both walk away and know that you learned something and you got something out of it. That's the most important thing, getting something out of it. Because if you walk away from it and you ain't got nothing out of it, what was the reason? What was the whole agenda of doing it? You have to have something out of it. You have to have a purpose. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a reason to know why you done it. You have to know the reason. You have to have a feeling on feeling good about why you did it. Not be like, oh, well, all right, it's cool. No, nigga, have a reason. Feel good about it when you get off. You know what I'm saying? Feel good about it. I'm gonna feel great about it. Feel good about it. And it's been it's crazy because when I talked to you the other day about it, and you was like, it's been a minute since we talked on the bus. I'm sitting there like, damn, how long ago was that? I'm sitting there trying to think like, damn, how long ago was that?
Yeah,
that's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah,
it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It's
been a minute.
Yeah.
So that's about a decade.
It's been
I said that was about a decade.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
a decade. Yeah.
Well, me personally, brother, I want to thank you for joining our, you know, coming on our platform, brother. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Anytime.
Che and I, we're not casuals. We are hardcore boxing fans. We love the sport. Like Sugar Ray Leonard is the reason why I started even watching boxing and fell in love with the sport. And,
that's good.
You know, and I've been in love with the sport ever since, man. And just having you on our platform and talking to you, like I've learned so much, you know, and just learning just the backstory and some of the history of you as a fighter, as a man, and as well as what it took to put on these two classic fights with the legendary Arturo Gatti, man. I just want to thank you again, man. And officially, you are our first interview on this platform. Like, we only a few weeks into this.
Oh wow.
We're not in it. We're not in it for the fame. We just love the sport, and we want to contribute something, do our part to just making this sport bigger and getting more love than it should get. And so, like you, as somebody who contributed to the sport and didn't get all the fanfare, we just want to give you your flowers, brother, and tell you that we appreciate you and we thank you
Absolutely.
for putting on a classic fights for our entertainment. And again, our platform was always open to you and any fighter you want to bring to our platform to promote what it is that they're doing, man. So
thank you, man. Appreciate it. You family, man. Anytime you need me or you want me to do something, all you gotta do is just call me. I'm
Absolutely.
there. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely, brother.
All right. No problem.
You, all right, brother.
Okay. All right, y'all have a good night.
You too, brother.
All right, champ.
All right.
One.
Peace.
Here we at the Parry.
Man.
Legendary night.
Man.
Legendary.
Listen, man. All I can say for those who didn't tune in, man. Listen, man. And here's the thing, too. This is why this was so dope, Che. This is why this was so dope. For me. I've never seen an interview with this brother on like these major platforms. As classic as this fight was, like, I'm not, there's a lot of platforms and people in the YouTube boxing space that I watch and that I love and respect. They didn't have this on that platform. We bring in the real. We bring in the. Listen, man, you got to be a hardcore to know about Ivan Robinson versus Arturo Gatti 1 and 2.
But you shouldn't have to be.
Come on.
You shouldn't have to be.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Listen, man. This is the Parry. And the Parry is fundamental to boxing. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, I'm sitting here listening to the brother tell some of these stories, man, about sparring with Pernell Whitaker.
I mean, this conversation could have went so many places. He just gave it to us, though. Man, you know what I'm saying? But
listen, man, I got a million more questions for the
Belgic
brother,
Taylor.
Come on.
He was in a camp around Tua, Gatti, Pernell Whitaker.
Listen, man, you only gonna get the real on the Parry straight like that. You only gonna get the real right here, man. You got platforms that's gonna interview the people that probably even the casual fan know of, man. You only gonna get an Ivan Robinson interview right here on the Parry, straight like that. Vivian Harris, yeah, my man Collis. Shout out to Collis, man, from Guyana. Vivian Harris, the Guyana.
You know what? I meant to actually bring that up, but next time we speak on that, because I believe that fight with Vivian Harris was one of the first open score fights, or not open. It was majority. They had this weird where they did the majority scoring thing. It was some weird shit that they was trying.
Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat, man, that tuned in.
Everybody
hit that like button.
Chat.
Hit that subscribe button. And for
push
those
all on that.
In our private group, Facebook group, the Parry. If you ain't subscribed yet, man, you losing. That's all I'm saying. You losing, man.
Well, everybody.
Because listen, we trying to get into the algorithm. Well, we got more stuff. We got more stuff in on the way for y'all, man. Y'all don't even understand. Like, we love the sport. This is what we do. This is for the hardcore of the hardcore boxing fan. You heard?
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We just had Ivan Robinson on the platform talking about his 2 wars with Arturo Gatti. Go back. Go back into the Facebook group or go on YouTube, search those fights, and you understand what we're talking about. Why this was such an epic night, man. Straight
and
like
remember
that. So
who Gatti, Gatti, you also got to understand Gatti's stature at the time. Like, Gatti was one of the top major fighters at that time, popularity wise.
Yo,
We're talking
as
1998.
as many, I don't know disrespect to Gatti, man, but as many ass whoopings that he took, as many wars that he been in, bro. He was it. Put like this: for those who watch MMA or UFC or what have you, he was the Nate Diaz of boxing, entertaining no matter who he fought.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him that. Nate Diaz might have been a little step better. Because after the Manfredi fight, the Robinson matches kind of really just knocked him down a notch. It was really
Right.
like his pedigree, his maintain as an elite. Because before the Manfredi fight, he only had one loss, and he was coming back from spectacular fights. He was the poster child for boxing after dark. He had the spectacular fight with Gabriel Ruelas, which he came back behind, knocked him out. Before that, he had the fight with Tracy Patterson, knocked him out. Like, dude was having some vicious ass matches, and he was really setting it off. So when he lost to Angel Manfredi, that was a big deal. Robinson, and you heard Robinson mention how people were sitting there like it was almost like, what? You got to go up against Thunder? Because that was supposed to be his little touch-up fight. That was supposed to be, let's make him look good and come back. And that was HBO, but we see what happened. He shouldn't have made that comment. He told him that he brought the knives to the gunfight, and he ended up getting all type of clapped up in that ring.
Listen, man, he ended up getting sliced and diced up. That's what happened. Look, man, jab that like button.
Absolutely.
Uppercut that subscribe button and go ahead and slap around that share button real quick. Drop a comment. You know what I'm saying? Share it and let people know that the real is here. This is the Parry. You know what I'm saying? And the Parry is what? Fundamental to boxing. You can't parry. You don't even belong in the ring. You heard? You feel me? Wow. Yeah, man. Yo, bro, listen, man. Che, first of all, let me thank you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I enjoyed that epically as a fight fan, as a boxing fan, as just somebody who just has been in love with the sport from a very young age. It was an honor to be able to interview somebody who has been through something like that, who has graced the ring with the likes of Emmanuel Augustus. You got to be a hardcore to know who that is.
Graced the ring with Emmanuel Augustus.
Who been in camp with somebody like Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah. He had the fights with Chavez. He had the fights with Jesse James,
Vivian Harris. Jesse James Laydown. Yeah. Come on. Come on,
Antonio Diaz.
Come on, man. For those who don't know, listen, man, Che the historian. I'm the aficionado. This is what it is.
There you go.
You're not in here on this platform listening to two people who just casually like the sport. You know what I mean? I started watching boxing in like 86. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was about that for me. I mean, I might have caught it a little bit earlier, but it was like 86 is when it became when I was watching it. I might could mention like 82, 83.
I'm gonna keep it a beam.
I'm
gonna tell you straight up.
That was the barbershop.
I'm gonna tell you straight up what it was that made me fall over boxing. I swear to you. I don't even really say this. I swear to you, bro. This is what made me fall over with the sport. When I saw Sugar Ray Leonard do the windmill when I saw him do that, just as a kid, it captivated me, bro. That's why I absolutely was like, yo, I gotta watch this guy.
Well, yeah, with Duran. You know what I'm saying? That was with Duran.
Yeah. When I saw that, like, I was like, what is this? Like, I know these dudes in here fighting, blood flying, they knocking each other out, but it was entertainment. Like, I knew he was doing something different from a young age. You know what I'm saying?
Sugar Ray Leonard was one of the most gifted and skilled. Like, his skill and gifts was matched so perfectly in the ring. Like Sugar Ray Leonard was the real deal.
Yo, man, I need y'all to hit that like button. It ain't many people in this live chat. But if you ain't hit that like button, man, you slipping. You ain't parrying punches, man. You eating them to the jaw. Straight like that. You know what I'm saying? This is the parry, man, where defense is primary, dog. Come on, dog. Hit that like button. Hit that, jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, and smack around that share button, straight like that. And for those on Instagram, follow us on @theparry101. You know what I'm saying? Baba Sekim says, Liston, Ali, and Frazier for me. Come on, man. That was the golden age of the boxing.
Ali, Frazier. Okay.
That was the golden age.
The golden age. What year you talking about? You talking about the 70s, the 60s? That was the golden age to you?
Listen, I'm talking about heavyweight boxing. Like, those are three of the greatest. Like, you could be a casual, not know much about boxing, you know those names. But there's a reason. But there's a reason. There's a reason why you know those.
Does Liston get recognized like he should?
No, he don't.
So
no, he don't.
Because he said
he beat the brakes off Floyd Patterson.
Ali and Frazier get that, and they get it because of each other. And the recognition Liston does get is because he lost to Ali.
He lost to Ali, but people don't know about how he beat the brakes.
The one time that he got people wanted him to win.
He beat the brakes off Floyd Patterson, dog. How many in 2 fights? The two fights don't even equal a whole minute, probably, man.
It might equal a minute.
Maybe.
But he had his heart, though. He had his heart. He from the weigh-in.
But
he had his heart. He had his heart in his back pocket. He walked out of the weigh-in with his heart in his back pocket, yo.
But the way Sonny Liston was devouring his opponents, and for Ali to go in there and do what he
dropped
did,
a bitch with a jab. Sonny Liston dropped a bitch with a jab. Sonny Liston was different.
Man. And he was out there really in the streets putting in work. Like,
for the mob.
And quiet as kept. They said he slapped Earth, Wind, and Fire out of Ali. You know what I'm saying, in real life. But I'm just saying, I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard.
I'm saying,
you know what I'm saying.
He looked like he would. If he could, but I don't know. Ali might have. Ali was quick.
Listen,
man, I don't know.
Ali had the nation behind him, but he had the mob, dog. Like, you know,
I don't know the nation versus the mob. I don't know, man. I might go with the nation, man.
I'm going with the nation too,
because they got conviction. It ain't just because they brothers. It ain't just because they brothers. It's because they brothers, but not just because they brothers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm going with the nation too to keep it a buck.
It's because they got conviction. When you go up against somebody who got conviction, when someone tell you, yo, God is really with me, and they really believe that, you can forget about it.
And Master Farrar was with him all the way. Real. They was with it. They believed it. They believe that. You know what I'm saying? And Ali believed that. You know, as long as he was with the nation before he went Sunni.
Took Ali. You see how far it took Ali? Took Ali all the way to Zaire.
Come on, man. We don't know him as Cassius Clay. His name ain't Cassius Clay.
Yeah, man.
His name was Muhammad Ali. That name was given to him by the, you know what I mean? By the message. Rest in peace to Muhammad Ali, man. You know
Rest
what I'm saying?
Rest in peace, Muhammad Ali, man.
Yeah, man. The GOAT for real, the greatest. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody talking about. I mean, look, man. Was
he the best heavyweight that ever lived? Was Muhammad Ali the best heavyweight that ever lived? See, right now we just styling off the Parry right now. Just the
yeah. We just styling real quick.
But was he the best heavyweight that ever lived? Muhammad Ali?
I'm not gonna say he was the best. If we talking skills, I'm not gonna say he was the best, but he's my favorite heavyweight ever.
Muhammad Ali. Who's better?
Because
who could you say was better? If he's not the best, what heavyweight can you say was actually better than Muhammad Ali? God damn it.
Now, listen, man. Here's the thing, too. Muhammad Ali's resume is impeccable.
He fought everybody.
Win or lose, I don't care. I'm talking about like just the people he stepped in the ring with. The era he fought in my opinion,
he beat everybody when it counted.
When it counted. But what I'm saying is Ali fought in my opinion, he fought in the toughest era of heavyweight boxing there's ever been. But if I'm going to say who, like, just off not just accolades, resume, and skill, all of that included, and just the longevity of it, man. I'm sorry. Like Joe Louis was a bad one. He was a bad dude, bro. Joe Louis was a bad dude, bro. He was bad, man. 11 years. He held that strap, dog.
Yeah, fighting bum of the months.
He was only
fighting bum of the months.
He was the come on, man. Nah, come on, man.
He wasn't fighting bum of the months.
Max
I didn't say Max Schmeling. I said fighting. He didn't have the bum of the month tour. Joe Louis wasn't infamous for the bum of the month tour. Yeah,
all right, so
wait a minute. I'm just asking you. But go ahead, because I want to go somewhere with this. I want to get somewhere with this.
Because here's my thing. Here's my thing, bro. Right? If you're doing anything for 11 years consistently,
right,
you ain't gonna have at least one off night.
I didn't say nothing about an off night. I said
I'm asking you.
Of course,
like Che, you a master with that camera.
In 11 years, he didn't even have that many off nights.
That's all I'm saying, bro.
But
that's all I'm saying, bro.
It's not hard to have an off night when you bum of the when you want to bum of the month tour. That's all I'm saying.
You saying that. I'm not.
Wait a minute. You're telling me though there wasn't. You're telling me if you Google bump of the month tour, Joe Louis ain't popping up.
What I'm saying is, I got to go back and review the resume. That's all I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying is, if I Google bump of the month tour, if I take my phone right now and Google bump of the month, you know Joe Louis is gonna pop up, right? That's not even to be funny.
People can say the same thing about Tyson.
No, I'm talking about there really was a bum of the month tour. There was something really called the bum of the month tour.
People can say the same thing about Mike, man. Come on, man.
Hold on. Siri.
Come on. Who was Mike fighting?
Hold on.
Come on, dog.
I gotta ask Siri. Siri, bum of the month tour. She's talking about the day.
Yeah. She gonna pull up Tyson resume. No disrespect to Tyson, man.
I ain't even look. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna do it like this. Bum of the month tour.
Yo, you see what Colin said? What? Mike had a lot of pay rent fights on the low. Come on,
no, but that's not what I'm saying. But we're gonna get back to my point though. Yeah, man. What was it called? Bum of the month tour.
Bum of the month tour, man. Come on.
Oh, look at the first thing that popped up. You see that? Oh, wait.
Put it in the camera. We can't see that. Pause.
You see that? See the first thing that popped up?
Listen, man.
You see it though, right?
Man, Google wasn't around when Joe Louis was fighting.
Oh, man, I'm just saying, look, it said Joe Louis and the bum of the month. Oh, yeah. The first thing that popped up. I'm just saying. There was legitimately what was called the bum of the month tour because Joe Louis was going, they was going in the bars and like, yo, you get from behind, come out here, throw these gloves on.
Look, man, here's why I'm gonna go ahead and give Joe Louis his
get up out that tow truck. Come out that tow truck, throw these gloves on.
How many years before Joe Louis was they keeping brothers away from that strap, man?
All
After Jack Johnson lost that belt, bro.
I'm not saying they wasn't.
Come on, man.
But now let's get back. Let's get back to you said Muhammad Ali fought in the best era, right? And you said his resume and competition was the best, right?
Say it again.
You said Muhammad Ali fought in the best era and his competition was the best, right?
Hands down.
Okay, better than Evander Holyfield.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the dudes who would be looked at as bums or cash drivers in that era will beat probably some world champions in what's the name?
No way, they're better now than they was then.
What's my 90s
heavyweights was bigger and stronger. Lennox Lewis would have crushed Joe Louis. Just so you know that.
What's my man name who came out of prison? What's my man name who came out of prison and fought Ali? I forgot his name, man. I can't think of his name right now.
You talking about not the white boy. Who you talking about?
Nah, he was a brother, man. He was a brother.
He came out of prison.
Yeah, he was locked up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He was locked up. And he came home. He had some fights and they ended up fighting Ali, man. He was tough as nails. I'm just saying, the fighters in that era, they was tough, dog. The tough.
Oh, man. Listen. What's my man Atlantic City Expressway? I think I don't know where he at. He might be dead now. But remember Atlantic City? Bruce Seldon. He was in and out of prison. That's what that meant.
What'd you say, Atlantic City Expressway?
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Like people be disrespecting the 90s heavyweights, man. Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis. They're whipping all of those cats you mentioned in the 70s and 60s.
Brooklyn, let's go. Riddick Bowe from Brooklyn.
I'm just keeping it real. They're beating all of them. Nails, you realize that, right? You realize Lennox Lewis is beating Lennox Lewis 2 rounds. Joe Louis out of there.
Yo, who is Trevor Berbick beating in Ali era, man? Keep it a beam. Ali champ. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Right. Oh, now we gonna leave y'all.
You shouldn't have mentioned Trevor Berbick. You shouldn't have mentioned Trevor Berbick.
Come on, man. They had like how many Jamaican champions they had in the 90s?
I'm just saying, man. I mean, I never liked Trevor Berbick though. But Trevor Berbick.
Who Razor Ruddock beating, man? Who I like Razor Ruddock. Who he beating? Keep it a beam.
Who did he beat?
Who he beating in that from the 60s, from Ali's era? Who he beating?
Who's he beating from Ali era?
Razor Ruddock, yeah. Who's he beating?
He beating most of them. He beating Patterson.
He beating Floyd Patterson.
He knocking Patterson out.
Dog.
Razor Ruddock was knocking Patterson out. He's too big for him, too strong for him. He's too big.
Smoking.
He's too big and too strong, man. Oliver McCall's gonna knock. Oliver McCall knocking out a couple of them dudes, yo. You know what I mean? You get a prime Oliver McCall and you put him back in his 60s.
Yo.
He was going to be a problem. A prime Oliver McCall in the 60s would have been a problem. I'm putting it out there just like that.
Yo, bro.
Man, Bert Cooper, look.
You bugging. You bugging.
Word.
Bert Cooper beating who?
Bert Cooper. He beat Rocky Marciano. Bert Cooper knocked Rocky Marciano out.
I'm going to give you that, but that's not Ali's era. That's
and Floyd Patterson. Ali is Ali.
Bert Cooper is not beating that Floyd Patterson, dog. You serious? Bert Cooper was tough, though. I ain't gonna
say right now. Listen,
Bert Cooper was tough as nails, man. But I ain't gonna.
So how much better is Ali's resume than Holyfield? I don't see it. And they both fought Larry Holmes.
Is Evander Holyfield beating a prime Ken Norton? Huh? How does
a prime Ken Norton beating a prime Riddick Bowe?
Listen, man.
Riddick Bowe knocking Ken Norton the F out, yo. Let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a bean.
Yo, bro, man. Look, all right. Look, man.
Yo, Riddick Bowe on the inside against Ken Norton.
Riddick Bowe was bad. I'm not taking nothing.
Riddick Bowe get close to Ken Norton on the inside, and Riddick Bowe had a jaw. His jaw wasn't jelly. Let's not get it twisted.
He did.
Let's not get it twisted.
He had a good chin.
Yo, he knocking Ken Norton out, yo.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one.
I
don't know about that one, man. It's a good fight. I'm gonna give you that one. That's a good one. That's
Larry
a good
Holmes
one. I give you that.
Nice in any era. Larry Holmes is one of them fighters that Larry Holmes would have been a problem in any era you put him in. Larry Holmes would have beat the shit out of most of those cats that came in the era before him. Larry Holmes would have embarrassed Sonny Liston. Larry Holmes would have embarrassed Sonny Liston. He'd have probably shut him out. He might not have knocked him out, but he'd probably shut him out.
You know, Sonny Liston was Tyson without the quickness, though. I'm just saying.
Without the quickness says a lot, though. Now you're not Tyson no more. What are you talking about? You know, he was all the Schwarzenegger without the muscles. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he was Superman, but he couldn't really fly. You know what I'm saying?
He was Superman without the cape.
Yeah, you know. You know what I'm saying? I get it. He had the Tyson aura. He had the Tyson-esque aura, you know. But he wasn't. He really wasn't. Sonny Liston was beatable.
Any era, that jab was elite. But that was a slapping jab.
So you talking
that
about
jab? He was just slapping people with that jab. He
was placing you with that jab. He was placing you. Stay right here, and bang with the right cross.
He was catching with the knuckles back, and you know
the jab was. The jab was freezing you. That jab was probably.
But who was it? But who
it was probably
who was
the
he in
best
the
jab
gym with?
for a heavyweight.
Who was he in the gym with, sparring with all the time, man? Ali.
Oh, yeah, he was with Muhammad. He was with
Muhammad Ali.
He was with Muhammad. You know what I mean?
Muhammad.
You know
what I'm saying?
I don't like the way that feels when I say that. That shit don't feel.
Shout out to College, man. Thank you for staying in tune with us, brother. That for those who don't know, that's family right there, man.
Absolutely.
College, that's Omawali's little brother. That's my little brother.
Absolutely.
You know he a grown man. I don't mean little brother like that. I respect you as a man, but you my little brother. You know what I'm saying?
But anyway, though, you know what he said. Iron Spinks, Leon Spinks. Damn, Spinks. I can't read. Leon Spinks.
He said
Leon Spinks
beat Ali.
Leon Spinks was like Buster Douglas. You know, but Buster Douglas was a little bit older. That's all. He was a younger Buster Douglas.
It was his name. He had more accolades coming into the, you know what I mean, coming to the
there
pros.
Was the Spinks brothers. They came out of the Olympics.
Yes, I'm saying he had more accolades coming into the pros, but he had the Ali. Come on, man.
The best Spinks is Corey Spinks. Corey Spinks was the best Spinks. That was the best one.
I don't know about that.
His son was the best.
I don't know about that one. I don't know better about
than Michael Spinks threw punches like he was trying not to get hit and throw punches at the same time.
It's hard for me to get the fact that he was scared to death against Mike out my head. I forget everything before that.
Scared to
everything before that it's kind of like a.
Because it's not memorable no more.
Yeah, it's not. He was like
that was so busterific that everything he did before that is like what? Huh? Who?
Michael Spinks literally looked like he took a shit in his trunks.
He looked like he looked like he did Geronimo. He looked like he did a Geronimo. He looked like someone said hit the deck. You know what I mean? Fire in the hole. Yeah. Like the way that was a jump, that was a belly flop. The boy belly flop.
Ali beat Spinks' second fight, no doubt.
He beat Spinks off of him in the second fight.
Listen, man, Ali's the GOAT, man. Like, if we really gonna break it down, I'm just saying, I felt like Joe Louis and the way he was able to hold down that title, and I felt like that right hand was, come on, man. He was hitting dudes and they was crumbling, dog.
Who?
It was
Joe
crumbling.
Louis? Yeah, they wasn't.
And not for nothing. If you go back and break down his tape, if you go down and break down, he was about $180, $185, whatever. If you go back, if you go back and break down the tape of how he was setting cats up for that right hand, and he was dudes, come on, man, he was crumbling cats. He was folding cats in his era.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
in the his Brown era, Bomber, man,
in his
put some
era,
respect on his
in
name.
His era, if you took him out of his era with his style and the way he fought, even with his size, and you put him in any era from the 70s on after, especially the mid 70s on after, he's getting rings boxed around him. He's coming out with cauliflower ears when the fight is over.
It's all right. Look, the fight
man was flat-footed, period, point blank.
Listen, no. I mean, look.
He was a great stalker, but he's getting rings ran around him. He's circumventing the shit out of that. Here's
the thing we gotta acknowledge though about Joe Louis and his era and everything that came after that. Joe Louis,
it's an inferior era. That's what we gotta admit. Period.
Okay, fair enough. But what I'm saying is Joe Louis in his era was completely different from every other fighter before him and in his era.
That's because he was a brother, and before him, it was a bunch of white boys.
I'm saying he had setups, he set traps for dudes, okay, and he boxed, he used his jab, okay, and he was tough as nails. What I'm saying is it wasn't like he was getting in the ring, and no disrespect to Jack Johnson, just going in there and just not much technique. The technical aspect of the sport for me, just from going back and watching old footage of old fighters and old fights and tapes and stuff like that. For me, Joe Louis, as in regards to heavyweight boxing, represented the era of cats who he actually had skill though. And I'm not taking that away from Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was getting dudes' teeth stuck in his gloves. Dude dropped him. He came back and, you know what I'm saying, dropped my man and had his teeth in his gloves.
Hey, who rocking with us right now? Because someone said go and take it to the room. What they mean? Take it to the group, man. Yeah, listen, feel free. What I'm saying is that we could close this up and go to the room.
You want to go live on the
Facebook?
Yeah,
we go live, do a little extra joint, just have a little
you know what?
fun.
Listen, man.
Have a little fun, man. Bring somebody in with us. Somebody want to join in, have a little. You're gonna get quiz though.
Yeah,
don't think you could come in. Just know you better know something when you step in.
I bet I'm with it. But all right, like we're gonna introduce something that ain't being done on YouTube boxing, man. You know what I'm saying? This is the post-fight. You know what I'm saying? The post-fight press conference after the fight. You know what I'm saying? We had Ivan Robinson on here. Yeah, this is the post-fight.
Well, shout out to Ivan Robinson, man. I used to see him all the time. That was my man. I didn't want to get into that part, but that's my man's though. You know what I mean? Ivan Robinson is my man.
What book you talking about, Baba? Like I'm a little confused. But yo, we about to slide over to YouTube. Excuse me, on the Facebook. We're gonna go live on the group, in our private group, the Parry. And we're gonna continue this discussion, this debate, going back and forth. This is fun. This is something that we're going, you know what? This might be a thing.
So
this might be a thing. If the community is with it, if the community is with it, man, let's do it. Post-fight.
We're gonna close this out because it's at the post-fight conference. You heard?
I gotta check. If you sent something, let me go check that. You know, Baba always sending me something, man. Like, damn, man, I love you, brother. Real talk.
So we out here. We going. What's up? Let's keep it.
We going. I want to tell people once again: jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, and slap around that share button, man. You know what I mean? Let people know that the real is here. You know what I mean? If you a non-casual fight fan, you are actual hardcore boxing fan, and like Baba Sekhem here, you go way back. You go way back. You know what I'm saying? To the Sonny Liston days, or even right now, you just a fan of the sport, man. This is where you need to be tuned into right here. The Parry.
Absolutely.
Pull or duck no punches, and the Parry is fundamental to boxing. I'm your host, Bomani UFG.
And I am the pugilistic Che Blak.
And you know what it is. This is the Parry. We want to thank all of y'all for tuning in. Shout out to Ivan Robinson again. And we see y'all on Facebook. Peace.
Absolutely.